finals day here at Circuito Internacional de Karting Campillos for the 2020 Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup. Alex Goldschmidt and Sarah Moore in the commentary box for our first of two second chance heats. The top 28 from both classes in junior Rotax and senior Rotax have automatically qualified for the two finals that start at 20 past 11 this morning. But there are places on offer for a particular amount of drivers, with juniors going up first, and then we have a second chance heat in senior Rotax that has a full capacity grid. Sarah, we've seen the intermediate classifications post last night and some very interesting statistics. We've had quite a few different winners. We've had 8 seniors take wins. We've had 2 we've had several that have actually taken wins themselves. So we've had Olson, Shields, Butcher, McDonald, Kovac, Valtonen, Edmonds and Gilbert. DD2 we've had Shriblak taking 2 wins and Nicolas Pico from France doing that. Moransky's done, swept the board. Mateo Radenkovic is on pole for the micro final, number 1 later on, and we've got 2 drivers, one of the Babikovas, and also Pilka and juniors with Ginchard and Walker also doing that. But the anticipation is now upon us. 200 drivers, some of which who will have their journey ended after this second chance heat. The pressure is really now on.
It is. It's the final cut, as it were. So yeah, the second chance heats will be, I don't know. Carnage is probably not the right word to use, but I think the way the seniors have been this weekend has been really interesting. So they've got some big grids out here, so I think for me that's definitely a class to watch. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they get on in the second chance heats. But also in the finals, I think if especially in the seniors, as you say, you've got quite a lot of different winners there. So I think that'll be interesting to see the battle between them.
Definitely agree with you there. We're literally seconds away for the first of 2 second chance heats. Junior Rotax up first, and they're going out of the pre-grid as we speak. So let's get the action underway here in Andalusia. So the first second chance heat of finals day, it's junior Rotax in action, and we have 23 competitors heading out onto the circuit. Edgar Zvilkans will be on pole position. Alongside him will be Austin Lee. Then it's Andrew Douglas and Colin Van Lammeren rounding out row 2. Janis Diak and Alexander Mikos, row 3. Mackenzie Cresswell and Alvaro Gutierrez Bossa from Spain, row 4. Alexander Kroll from Spain and Mia Maret Pankratov rounding out the top 10. Drake Janssen and David Schnell on row 6. Daniel Hunt and Viktor Goryanov, row 7. Alexei Yalava and Alvar Zimisvara. That makes it a finish row 8. A finish row 9 as well, with Ada Turpainen and Jere Kokalainen, with Johnny Mertz and Zeno Falka rounding out the top 20. Completing the 23 strong as they go on to the formation lap here, with 7 minutes set on the timer, is Carl Gustav Borgard from Denmark, Luca Colin Scholz from Germany, and João Diniz from Portugal. This is where it really counts. These drivers will be fighting tooth and nail over the next 7 minutes, plus an additional lap. A big thank you to everyone that watched the live stream on YouTube, Facebook, and also on the Downforce radio feed that will be accompanying us throughout the 2020 season. We had over 76,000 in terms of an organic reach yesterday, which for us is a new standpoint in our broadcasting schedules for 2020. It was a real highlight for the entire team, and we thank you to everyone that clicked on the link clicked on the video to have a watch and have a listen of what's been some great action. 24 races yesterday. We broke the camel's back. We now go into the first of 12 races. 10 finals in total, 2 per class, And at the end of the day, at around about 4:15 local time, we will crown our Winter Cup winners for 2020 with €31,000 worth of prizes on offer. For tickets to the International Trophy at Le Mans International Circuit between the 28th of July and the 1st of August, and also entries to the Euro Trophy. We've got a straggler at the back, well pointed out there, Sarah, thank you for that. I think that might be João Diniz, possibly from Portugal, as the rest of the field makes their way through turn 18. The first of two second chance heats get underway here in southern Spain. The revs rise, we go lights out and racing, as it's nearly four abreast up towards turn one for the very first time, about sort of just after the bottom half of the top 10, as they head up the hill through turn 4, up into the tight left-hander at 5, down a slight descent. Sarah and I had a bit of a track walk which took us about 40 minutes. These drivers will probably be doing it in around about 65 seconds, as up the hill they go towards the crest, over the hill they go down the brow, down into turn 9, heading down the hill. Everyone making it through thus far. There's been no skirmishes. As we go into turn 11, that can unsettle the car. We noticed there was quite a few bumps heading into there. As the leaders make their way through the exit of turn 12, there is a kart train of around 9 karts, and then the rest of the field there's a move for around 13th. A bit of side-by-side action, including the 277 of Gordianov. But the leaders now stream their way down towards turn 16. And the battle for what is around 8th position at the minute looks to be quite intensifying there, as the leaders come across the start line to complete lap 1. Vilkans from Latvia leads, ahead of Douglas by just over 0.3 of a second. There's Van Lammeren. Austin Lee dropping down to 4th position. Gutierrez Bossa from Spain rounds out the top 5, followed by Mackenzie Cresswell. And the battle for 6th to 8th position, that's Cresswell, Mikos and Stiak. That's getting very close, very much line astern. And at the back part of the field, that is Luca Collins-Schultz. So set positions 7, 8 and 9, heading down the hill. And then it's being led by Alexander Mikos from Poland, Janis Stiak from Germany, and Mia Marek Pankratov now up into 9th position, as it's a great dice between the trio. And I'm just keeping an eye on that. Mikos has lost out and has dropped 2 positions, so ahead goes Janis Stiak and Mia Marek Pankratov. And there's a chat that someone's being a bit brazen going around the outside. That's possibly Mackenzie Cresswell or Gutierrez Bossa. The changes for 5th position are happening quite quickly, and it is the 216 of Great Britain's Mackenzie Cresswell who has the advantage for the moment. 3-second penalty being issued, and that's for Alexander Kroll from Spain, running with Dan Holland, racing this weekend. As the leader, Vilkans from Latvia, is starting to break away, has a gap of around 0.8 of a second ahead of Andrew Douglas from Great Britain. Then it's the Netherlands, represented by Colin van Lammeren in the 263, and it's the 214 of Alexander Kroll that has had. He's left the tram lines with 2 wheels on the on the formation start around about 3 minutes ago, but then I've just seen that Van Lammeren is hustling Andrew Douglas for what is second on the road. So it's Vilkans, Douglas, Van Lammeren, Gutierrez Bossa, Cresswell, Lee, Stiak, Pankratov, Mikos, Janssen, Simisvara now completes the top 11. Hunt from Latvia rounds out the top 12 ahead of Kroll, Jalava, Gordiano, Falka, Koikalainen, Diniz, Topainen, Mertz, Borgard, Schnell and Scholz. That's the full running order, all carts still circulating, and now the gap between first and second has extended to over a second, 1.075 between Vilkans, and now Colin van Lammeren takes away second position from Great Britain's Andrew Douglas as they come across the crest, the top part of the circuit here at the 1,580 metre circuit. Karting Campillos here in southern Spain, and it's really getting dicey. Austin Lee definitely coming under pressure, and Austin's currently running in P6 at the minute, but he's started to get away. The young American based originally out of Portland, Oregon, now living in Nuremberg in Germany. Started karting, and at the back of the field it's nearly 3 abreast going into turn 12. And in the middle of all of that is the 240, that is Topainen from Finland, and there's a side-by-side just behind and that's between Falca and Denise. Leaders come across the line to start lap number 5 here with 2 minutes and 35 plus an additional lap left to go. Up the hill goes Wilkans, followed by Van Lammeren, Douglas, Gutierrez and Cresswell. Top 5 separated by 1.9 seconds, and it's only 7/10 between 2nd to 5th position. But I'm just keeping an eye on the pace of Austin Lee at the moment. He's running at a 1 minute 5.5. That's his best time, and that was on the previous lap. He was only a tenth slower off of Mackenzie Cresswell, who's running on the Kart Republic chassis. Derek Janssen has got past Alexander Mikos from Poland, and that is a change for 9th, as Miomir Pankratov still remains in 8th position. And there's a great scrap between the treble 2 of Simisvara and Yalava, both countrymen. So as it's side by side between the Finns going into turns 15 and 16. And that is the treble 2 of Simisvara. Simisvara's got the advantage going into turn 17. So Vilkan still leading. 1.5 seconds is the difference as Douglas drops behind Gutierrez Bossa from Spain. And it is really getting dicey out there. Vilkans at the moment is leading quite comfortably. The rest of the opposition don't have an opportunity to strike because the time is now at 70 seconds plus an additional lap for the second chance heat. And we'll find out who will be going through to the 2 finals later on for Junior Rotax. So less than 60 seconds remaining. Vilkans, Van Lammeren, Cresswell now up into P3. Gutierrez Bossa, P4. Austin Douglas is now in front of Austin Lee. So Douglas in 5th, Lee in 6th. Janis Stiak from Germany still in 7th ahead of Miomir Pankratov. Derek Janssen, Alvar Simisvara round out the top 10. So the lead now is nearly 1.8 seconds as we go on to the penultimate lap of the race with 22 seconds remaining on the clock. Vilkans has comfortably got this in the bag, but the battle for second is going to change. Mackenzie Cresswell goes up the inside of Colin Van Lammeren at the top of turn 5. And right behind, there is Gutierrez Bossa, and it's side by side for second and third through turn 8. All that was close to the interlock wheels, and Gutierrez Bossa steals 3rd. Coming through turn 9. Great work from the Spaniard. So Colin Van Lammeren is still, as again, Cresswell going up the inside of Gutierrez Bossa to retake 3rd place. Here's Austin Lee, and along with that is Janis Stiak. And just behind them is Andrew Douglas, and then also a little bit further back is Derek Janssen. So this time around, Edgars Vilkans will get the sign that is needed. Final lap here in the junior second chance heats here at Karting Campillos. And it's absolutely kicking off from around about That's from P6 with Derek Janssen, Andrew Douglas, Alvar Simisvara. Now is the time to make your opportunity count. So from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th position, the top 10 are pretty much line astern as there's a bit of argy-bargy. Someone's lost out 2 places going down into turn 6. And the leader now is just exiting turn 12. Ooh. And we've had 3 come together on turn 11. Oh, a bit of avoiding action there, and someone goes off and hits the barrier, glances the barrier. That's the 2:14, and that's Alexander Kroll. Great. Well, that was tried to thread the eye of a needle and unfortunately could not have anything apart from unavoidable contact there with 3 carts coming together. Meanwhile, Edgar Vilkans wins the Junior Rotax second chance heat. Second, it's Colin Van Lammeren. What a job from Austin Lee representing Germany. He got into the top 3. He started on second position, finished P3. Alvar Simisvara and Alexei Yalava also made sure they got through to the top 5 after that carambolage at turn 11 on the final lap of the race. Mackenzie Cresswell, P6. Alexander Mikos, P7. Andrew Douglas in 8th. Ahead of Latvia's Daniel Hunt, Derek Janssen, Alexander Kroll, Janis Diak. And I can see that one of the drivers that was compromised was the Spaniard Alvaro Gutierrez Boza, who ended up way down the order. Also, Zino Falka's just taken the checkered flag, and Viktor Goryanov from Estonia also came a cropper, unfortunately. So the finishing order, Edgars Vilkans wins the second chance heat for Junior Rotax ahead of Van Lammeren, Austin Lee, Alvar Zimisvara, Alexei Yalava, Mackenzie Cresswell from Great Britain, Alexander Mikos from Poland, Andrew Douglas from Great Britain ahead of Daniel Hunt, Derek Janssen, Alexander Kroll, Janis Diak, Jere Kokalainen, Ada Turpainen. We also had Joao Diniz, Carl Gustav Borgard. I think Mia Maret Pankratov might have been an unwilling participant in that accident, as she finished down in 17th position. David Schnell, Jonny Mertz, Luca Collins-Schultz, Zino Falka were the last of the 21 drivers. And we've had a penalty issued post-race. Derek Janssen gets a penalty for causing a collision, a 5-second penalty. Alvaro Gutierrez Bosa and Viktor Goryanov also were at the tail end of the field, and that was an interesting way to finish the junior second chance heat here in Andalusia. Well, that's a way to start finals day, if ever I thought it. But I just really want to get Sarah's opinion on this. That incident we had at turn 11, that really changed the order of what we've just had, with a great job from Edgars Vilkans from Latvia, controlling proceedings all the way through to the checkered flag. We had great drives. I think Alvar Zimisvara and Alexei Yalava actually starting on row 8 and both finishing 4th and 5th respectively. But it just shows that if there's an opportunity that someone's going to sense a gap, they are going to go for it, and you can send it, and sometimes it doesn't always pay off.
Yeah, when we were watching the races yesterday and had a track walk yesterday evening, we had a look down into turn 11. It looked like it was quite a tricky overtaking point yesterday. And it just proved it in the race just then. One little mistake from one guy caused, I think it was 3 karts that span, and effectively ruined the race for all 3 karts. So these things happen in racing, but you know, the leader in that race did a fantastic job of making a gap at the start, and I think second all the way down to 10th at one point was just one big long train. And like you say, once one person in that pack makes a move, the whole of the train behind tries to follow the guy at the front through. So yeah, an interesting race there.
Definitely, very much Sebastian Vettel-esque from his days at Red Bull. He used to pull a 2-second gap on the very first lap, so no one was in DRS range. And Edgar Vilkans did that with no KERS, no DRS, no aero, just pure guts and gusto just to go for it. You think that was a corker? This one is going to be a belter. We have an absolute explosion on our hands here of senior Rotax action. The top 28. Now I'm just going to go to some of the the intermediate qualification, and quite a few. We counted this earlier on. 7 Brits in the top 10. Juho Valtonen, on the basis of getting 2 wins, took 4 points. So it's the least amount of points puts you higher up the grid, but it's very different now because it's 25 points for a win, 20 for second, and it goes all the way down to 1 point at 15th in each final, which will start a little bit later on. So there'll be the third set of finalists going out. So we'll have Micro Junior, Senior DD2 and DD2 Masters. So it's Juho Valtonen, Matilda Olsson, the reigning Euro Trophy champion, P2 with 7 points to her credit, with a win, 2 seconds, a third. Sean Butcher, the top rookie in terms of Rotax Euro appearances, took a win, a second and 2/3, putting him on 8 points. Zombar Kovac from KSB rounds out the top 4 on 9 points. Then it's Tom Edmonds on that particular. Repeat. So very shortly we will be going out onto the grid with the senior Rotax drivers. But very interesting how it's going to look in just a couple of moments' time, as they will go out in about 2 minutes. But it's going to be an interesting one. We'll have our hot lap that one of the drivers, will reveal the individual now. From Portugal, the 3:05 of Guilherme de Oliveira has kindly been able to assist us in providing a hot lap. It is in wet weather conditions when he was testing here. But it will show from a true driver's perspective on a GoPro, on a side pod, because they use a lot of data and telemetry that Sarah and I were discussing yesterday in the broadcast about how technical it is. And it is quite deceiving that we found bumps, we found where they've reprofiled the tarmac, and you can find that some areas are a bit grippy. But I think the biggest thing for the pair of us was the amount of camber, especially through turns 3, 4, 5, 6, up the hill to 8. So it's quite deceiving. What you see on camera is very different altogether. So it looks like we're going to have 36 drivers, 18 rows of maximum capacity grid. So I think before we get them out, maybe we'll get the hot lap shown before they get out if we can. If not, we'll do that just after. I think we'll leave that until after this. So we'll play the hot lap for those watching on both Facebook and YouTube, and a big thank you to those listening on Downforce Radio's official Rotax radio channel that will be broadcasting all the way through the season, from this weekend all the way through to the second weekend of October, with the B&O Karting Series finale taking place at Karting Genk, home of champions. A full capacity grid, unfortunately, with one non-starter for Senior Rotax second chance heats, 35 competitors. The absentee is a non-starter, unfortunately, Juha Oksanen from Finland, who was due to start on the outside of row 16, will not be joining us. But the second chance heat grid is as follows. Rasmus Friedel and Paul Fotkema will be on the front row, ahead of Andreas Hebel and Tima Eroshin from Russia. Lori Lepai from Finland and moving powers Luca Leistra, representing Belgium, will be on row 3. Then it's Tom Adams from the UK, Kilian Gerhardt from France alongside on row 4, Teresa Babikova and Sweden's Robin Knutsson on row number 5. That completes the top 10. Luna Blom, Tim Mikamets, Jose Luis Sinero Salas, Fabian Bock, Mario Sidler, Kian Sang, Max Stemmerink, Mark Kamahata, Jordi van der Eyck and Karel Kret round out the top 20. Completing what's going to be the 35-strong running order, the starting order will be Flint Schuring, Marine Crespo, France from Germany, Roche from France, Una Oksanen from Finland, Antoine Antier, Spencer Schinner, Lukas Thompson, Rodrigo Lessa. Then it will be Vladislav Ryabov from Russia, Hussein Salman from Egypt. Then we will have Christophe Capitan. We've also got Michael Petit, and also looks like Kim Leon Kublik. So we've got 37 drivers out, 36 drivers out on the circuit. 10 minutes plus an additional lap. The fireworks started, and it was like the Chinese little bangers that you throw on the floor and scare people at Chinese New Year. But now this is going to be a full fireworks display. 10 minutes plus an additional lap. This is where, as we both discussed earlier on, just when we went live, around about just under half an hour ago. Weather at the moment is 13 degrees Celsius, set to hit a high, predicted high of around 18 degrees. A little bit later on, around about sort of 1 o'clock. Quick reminder for the paddock, we would like all 200 drivers on the start-finish line for the group photo at 1:15 this afternoon. All drivers will need to be present in race suits with race helmets for the official group photo on the start-finish line area of the circuit at 1:15 this afternoon. This is where it's a bit like the NFL draft. You'll put in a pick, you put in a line of picks, and if you get called by a team, you've then made the draft. And that is an absolute, they're making us wait for it. But if there's a bit of reorganisation in the rows, but that's not really what you want in a rolling start, but there is someone actually pulling to the right-hand side on the entrance into turn 16, so we could be down to 35 competitors. Well, it's showing 2 drivers on the timing screen. The drivers now enter the tram lines. The Rotax roar revs up and goes into high gear. We go like... And they've red flagged it. They've red flagged it as well. Full start, they've red flagged it. Race director not at all happy. I think, well, the red flag is because of the kart that's stricken on between turns 16 and 17. The drivers fall to the right-hand side of the circuit. Can't really make out who that is from the commentary position. So, again, we reset. Control Alt Delete. Hold down the power button on your computer if you want to force restart it. But now it's again, when a lot of people think, well, what happens with a full start? The drivers are now refocusing. They're getting into the zone once again. Top 10 for this is Rasmus, is Friedel, Fokima, Hebel, Roshin, Lepaj, Leicester, Adams, Teresa Babikova, with Gerhard and Blum rounding out the top 10. So they have red flagged it because... Now I'm just waiting to see if... right, so the race director is now on the start-finish line. They're pulling them into the tram lines. So there is going to be a discussion. I think it's probably to do with the pace. And we've had another driver that's pulled to the side. And that is... That's a 3-0. Well, driver's got going. And that is the 3-0-4. That's Karol Kret from Poland. So Kret has now got back underway. Looks to be up to full speed. So they're now just doing some relevant checks. So, great work from our camera crew to pick this all up. So it's slap on the wrist time, I think. So all the drivers are being summoned to the front of the grid, with our race director now giving them a very stern warning. And I think that's probably maybe because of the fact that they were so concertinaed out of turn 16. So the race director has called it as a red flag because of the start procedure. Not at all happy of it, of what transpired. So there will be a slight delay before we get this underway. Now the drivers make their way back to their karts. Apologies if you hear me coughing a bit. It's still, I think I'm still recovering from yesterday, where we had a great grandstand finale for the 10th and final qualification heat for senior Rotax. And I had a very good chat with Lewis Gilbert's parents, actually, just on the gantry above the where the dummy grid is before they come out. And they said it was really great to see my son at the front of the field when it was so exciting. Well, Jennifer, you have got a lot. I think we've all got a lot more in store. The two finals for all 5 classes later on today, starting at 11 with Micromax, is only the beginning of what is set to transpire here. And Sarah, it's quite interesting. Obviously, they've had the stern warning from the race director, the slap on the wrist saying, "Come on, guys, get it together." And it's not an unusual sight sometimes to see in karting, but now the drivers will have heeded his words, because when the race director says something, you have to listen.
That's it. You don't want to get any further from there, do you? I think I don't know whether they all slowed down coming into the final section for the car that was clearly pulling to one side. But yeah, they slowed right down coming through the final sector there, and from there it was just a bit of a mess going over the start and finish line. So completely understand why they stopped it there. So we go again.
Yep, third time lucky, hopefully, as they say. They do say that third time's a charm, and let's hope that's the case for the senior Rotax second chance heat.
They got him back out.
Oh, okay. So
back on the
so that's Rasmus Friedel. So that was the driver that was struck.
Yeah, he was the guy that had stopped, so it was the leader. So that obviously explains why they all pretty much came to a stop. So yeah, they've luckily managed to get him back out to start from pole again.
No, so that's good news for Rasmus Friedel from Sweden, who will have France's Paul Fokema alongside, who's running with PKS competition. Dams Racing have Andreas Herbert, who's been with him for the last couple of seasons. Buvin Power running team Eroshin from Russia. Then it's Lori Lepai from Finland, Luca Leisra from Belgium, Tom Adams from Coles Racing in the 347 will start 7th, ahead of Kylian Gerhardt running on the Sodi Kart chassis representing France. Then it's Strawberry Racing's Teresa Babikova, and both Sarah and I discussed about her last night when penultimate lap she pulled to the right hand side coming out of turn 18, massive problems for the Czech driver, puts her in the danger zone, and then has Robin Knutsson, who's been with the Euro Trophy I think since its inauguration in April 2018, and I've seen some great performances from him, and now they are putting the 304 of Carol Kret back into position. Carol starts on 20th on the outside of row number 10, which puts him in front of Angel Marin Crespo from Spain. Flint Schuring is meant to be in 21st position, so what they're then going to do is they're going to just make sure they're in some semblance of relevant order in order to get them underway. So apologies for the delay for those watching at home on YouTube and Facebook, and also for those listening on Rotax Radio, on Downforce Radio, the nation's motorsport station based out of the United Kingdom. So again, we just patiently have to bide our time and wait to see what happens over 10 minutes plus an additional lap. Okay, received. So, we'll get proceedings underway. So there's a slight delay. We were running about sort of 10 minutes behind schedule at the moment. So this will put a slight delay on the timetable, but not too much. We should hopefully run to time. Obviously, if there is a slightly shortened lunch break, it will be completely understandable. So what will happen is that with regards to the timetable itself, there will be an opportunity to get the warm-ups for the top 28 in the rest of the warm-ups. After that, so we'll have the DD2 Masters and DD2 and DD2 Masters, and they will have a 7-minute warm-up before the Micromax drivers start the first set of finals. For the second set, we'll be heading down onto the grid before the racing action gets underway. Get a word with some of the drivers here at Karting Campillos, or some of the 200. So effectively, we will cut down the field by quite a considerable amount, and in terms of the juniors, we'll cut it down by 17 drivers, and then in seniors it's going to be a whopping 33. that will be cut effectively to that point. So there is quite a lot of drivers out on the circuit at the moment, a full capacity grid without, unfortunately, Juha Oksanen from Finland, who is a non-starter. I think I saw that Juha didn't actually start any of the latter heats yesterday. So the engines on the Rotax Max Evo engines, 125 cc's in displacement, now start making their way around the circuit. I'll quickly run through the starting order. Friedel on pole, Fokema alongside, Herbert, Eroshin, row 2. Lepaj and Leistra, row 3. Adams and Gerhard, row 4. Babikova and Knutsson complete the top 10. Ahead of Blum, Tim Mikamets, Sinero Salas, Bock, Sidler, Sang, Stemerdink, Kamahata, Van der Eyck, Kret, Flint Schuring, Marine Crespo, France, Roche, Maurice Schuring, Marquez, Una Oksanen, Entier, Schinner, Thompson, Lesser, Ryabov, Salman, Capitan and Petit. And it looks like we have Kim Leon Kublik according to my timing screen here. And that is the case because the German is on the circuit. So now this time, let's hope that there's no issues for Rasmus Friedel like there was on the red flag that we just had a moment ago. So in many respects, it's time to get the Rotax Raw streaming around this tarmac here for 10 minutes plus an additional lap. 1,580 metres here at Circuito Internacional de Karting Campillos. The Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup set to hit another fever pitch moment here in the second of two second chance heats. Senior Rotax, the roar of the Rotax engines goes up the rev range. We go lights out for 10 minutes up towards turn 1. 3 abreast, 4 abreast, heading into the first corner for the first time. It's going to get very dicey. Everyone's jockeying for position. It's 2 abreast several times outside of the top 10 as the field tries to navigate its way through turn 6. And there's 2 that have come together on the outside of the circuit. So there is one driver that has gone right down to the back of the field. 2 came together, interlocked wheels. As the 2 leaders, that is Rasmus Friedel, and I think that might be Paul Fokema. No, that might be Andreas Herbert. Herbert is with Rasmus Friedel and goes round the outside of turn 12, and he's keeping it pinned, and he's got the lead. That's a great move from the Frenchman on the very first lap. And already there are more positional changes. There's so many, I can't even keep up with them, and that is quite completely honest, but what a move from Andreas Herbert from Dams Racing. But Rasmus Friedel from Dan Holland Racing is on the counter-offensive. They come through the final corner to complete lap number 1. It's Herbert. Friedel in second. Lepaj third. Fokema. Adams up to 5th. Eroshin, Leistra, Bock, Sang, Babikova. Luna Blom rounds out the top 11. And I'm just keeping an eye on who's dropped right down to the bottom of the order. Kylian Gahin was the driver that got compromised. He's all the way down in 34th position. So already on the first lap, Gahin's hopes of potentially getting into the finals has been dealt a significant blow. And there is the 396 going off circuit. That's Arthur Horsch down in 19th position. So the French driver also drops down the order as there's a move up the inside of the 350. Laurie Lepaj has been passed by Paul Fokema from France through turn 12. Great work from the Frenchman. So it's France leading Sweden, and France has a move going for 5th. 2 side by side, make that 3 wide nearly, coming out of turn 16. As Herbert leads, Friedel in second. This is fast paced at its very best when it comes to senior Rotax. 5-second penalty for the 308. And that's Sinero Salas from Spain. So the first 2 up the hill, down turn from turn 5 into turn 6. There's a move. That's Laurie Lepaj, I think, up the inside of Tom Adams. That is for 4th position. And Tima Eroshin from Russia's gone through 2. Flint Schuring and Vincent France have made positions up to 17th and 18th. Makamahata from France up into P15 according to the timing screens. Crespo 23rd behind Kawakret and Una Oksanen. Oksanen started down in 27th. The Finnish lady driver now up into 21st position. As now Andreas Hebel is pulling away from Rasmus Friedel. And then 3rd, 4th, and there's a move for 5th. Looks like that there's been a change. Tom Adams drops another position. Looks to be down in 6th place. And has just been passed by Timo. That might be even Luca Leistra. I'll just keep an eye on the timing screens. It is Luca Leistra. So the Belgian with moving power gets past the Brit from Coles Racing as there's two side-by-side battles heading into turn 2 and 3. And leading that at the moment, I'm just trying to keep an eye out. It's so action-packed. There are moves happening everywhere on the circuit. We've got 6 minutes and 24 plus an additional lap here in the senior second chance heat. And there are drivers literally in other slipstreams. They're literally bump drafting going down the hill from turns 9 to 10. So Hebel last time around had just over a 3.5 tenth of a second lead over Rasmus Friedel. Forkema is now in 3rd place. Lepai, I think, is still in 4th ahead of Luca Leistra. Tom Adams in 6th place. As Leicester's going to go up the inside of Lepai into turn 16. Nice move from the Belgian there. Used the slipstream to his absolute maximum advantage to come through into turn 16. So Luca Leistra looking to qualify for the second chance for the 2 finals later on this morning. So Leistra now on the hunt. And he set the fastest lap in the process. A 1 minute 3.560. So Luca Leistra looking at the back bumper now of Paul Fokema from France. And a little bit further down, just outside of the top 10, there's a ding-dong bell, I think probably with the likes of Tim Mikametz, Max Stemenik and Makamahata. That is for around about 11th position on the road. Morris Schuring and Flint Schuring are pretty much intertwined. There were 67 thousandths of a second between each other. That's for 18th and 19th. And just keeping an eye now on Luca Leistra. There's a move up the inside. That is for round about 8th to 9th. Someone's lost out big time, could lose 2 places. That is Kian Sang that has gone past Luna Bloom from JJ Racing. And just behind the Dutch driver, I think, is Timo Eroshin. So Eroshin has lost out. And here goes... I think that might be Kian Sang, actually. Kian Sang in 10th position, I think, has just secured 9th. And as they're all flooding across the line, 4 minutes and 37 to go. Black and white warning flag for the 314 of Morris Schuring. And it's still not over yet, and we are only into the second of 12 races, and it has kicked up the rev range like nobody's business. So these drivers are going all out. Some of them might have even in the warm-up earlier scrubbed off a new set of Mojo tyres for this very race to be at the absolute peak performance of both driver and kart being as one. And the one that's doing that at the moment is Andreas Hebel, who has a lead of over nearly 6 to 7 tenths of a second over Rasmus Friedel. Luca Leistra from Belgium trying to chase them down. And on his last lap, he did a 1 minute 3.6. He was the quickest of the top 3. He was quicker by over 2 tenths from Andreas Hebel, and he is catching Rasmus Friedel. So Luca Leistra, I don't think is even looking for second. He wants to win. He's hungry for it. He's good. He is very good, very capable. And again, he is the quickest out of the top 3. Gap between the top 3 now just over a second. And then 5th and 6th positions, that's Lori Lepai and the recovering Teresa Babikova, who's up from P6 to P8. Top 10 at the moment, it's Hebel, Friedel, Leistra, Fokema, Lepai, Babikova, Adams, Fabian Bock, Kian Sang and Luna Blom rounding out the top 10 in the minute. And here we go. Rasmus Friedel is coming under increasing pressure from Luca Leistra from Belgium, who is pretty much less than half a kart length behind, probably just about, as they go down the back straightaway. Paul Fokema is coming under pressure from Lori Lepai. As that's happened, Lepai's got past the Frenchman through turn 16. One of the best overtaking opportunities here at the circuit. But now the toe is in the favour of Luca Leistra going down the main straightaway, heading into turn number 1. And he's right on the back bumper of the Swede as they go up the bump. There is a bit of a bump there. You can quite literally see it on the stream. And we saw that when we went there. And it looks like there was a little bit of an unsettle there for Luca Lystra, but he's quickly back on the pace and quickly getting through the apex of turn 5, and he's hustling it. He's keeping Friedel under pressure to try and make Rasmus make a mistake. And then a little bit further down, Lepai is ahead. Babikova is actually the one in 4th position, so she's got past both Lori Lepai and also Paul Fokema. And just behind them is the 347 of Tom Adams from Great Britain. And it's being followed by Germany's Fabian Bock. Dennis Kidd sang on the red speed chance. Battery went on the handheld, sorry mate. Give me a second, the receiver's now back on full power, that went out as well. Might need another set of batteries, buddy. Apologies for that. Yeah. Apologies for that. We're now on to the final lap of the race. Apologies for that. We had some battery issues with both our receiver and also the handheld mic here in the commentary box. So, been a lot of changes. Fabian Bock has got past Tom Adams. Tom Adams rounds out the top 8 in the minute as we head. And it's a battle royale now for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, being led by Luca Lystra, who has made the move past Rasmus Friedel. And now, well, it's not just him that's got past, it's also Teresa Babikova. We go on to the final lap, black and white warning flag for the 316. And that's Flint Turing as Hebauer goes up the hill for the final time through into turn number 5. Luca Lystra was only just over half a second adrift of the Frenchman. Teresa Babikova quickly being followed by Rasmus Friedel. So Paul Fokema, Lori Lepai, Fabian Bock, Tom Adams, Kian Sang and Tima Eroshin from Russia round out the top 10. So we're fast approaching the finish of this race, and Paul Fokema has got Lori Lepai breathing down the back of the race overalls, and there's been a few other changes. I think Tom Adams really trying to fight forward and might have just been overtaken, and I think that might be what Kian Sang's got past. I think even Timo Roshin has got past the Brits. So we're going to have the checkered flag wave very, very shortly, and it's going to wave for Dams Racing's Andreas Hebauer from France, and what a drive from Luca Lystra from Belgium, starting in 6th position, finishing in 2nd place, ahead of Teresa Babikova. Rasmus Friedel, who started on pole position, had a bit of a drama on the rolling start lap, and then ended up in P4. Paul Fokema from France in 5th, Lori Lepai in 6th, Fabian Bock and Kian Sang complete the top 8. Then we will also have rounding out the running order, Tima Eroshin, Tom Adams, Mark Camerata, and there is a driver that's pulled to the side there that looks to be the 312, that's Lucas Thompson. So Mark Camerata in 11th, Luna Blum, Vincent France, Tim Mika Metz, Jori van der Eyck, Robin Knudson, Maurice Schuring, Max Stemmenink, rounds out the top 18 ahead of Mario Sidler, Una Oksanen, Carol Kret, Angel Marin Crespo, Jose Luis Senora Salas, rounding out in 23rd. Ryabov, Antier, Marquez, Capitan, French Shearing, Spencer Shinner, Rodrigo Lessa, Guillaume Garin, Artur Roche. Hussein Salman from Egypt finished in 33rd position, with Kim Leon Kublik being the last of the classified finishers, unfortunately with Lucas Thompson breaking down just after the checkered flag. Well, actually on the penultimate lap, with Ua Oksanen unfortunately not finishing the race. So for those watching on the live stream at the moment, we're going through the warm-up stages for both DD2 and DD2 Masters. Sarah, that was a very interesting senior Rotax second chance heat. We're going to get the grids very, very soon for that, but I think we were treated to something rather special. I think one of the biggest standouts for me was Luca Leistar. He dropped down the order, went into the bottom part of the top 10, but then just came fighting back, and it just shows how hungry people can really be if they want it bad enough.
That's it. The second chance is always going to be a tough race, because with a full grid like that was just then, all those drivers are wanting to try and get into the finals. So it's always going to be tough, which gives us all watching some great battles out there. I'm looking forward to the finals of the senior race. It'll be tough for the guys that have got through coming from the back. But again, I'm sure we'll see some good battles out there.
Yeah, very much the case, because in motorsport anything can happen. We've seen it already in both second chance heats, that it pretty much normally does, and karting is no exception. It's actually the most prevalent of where I've seen it happen through having started commentating more or less sort of a lot more since 2017. I've seen quite a few incidents in my time, but the main thing is that everyone that has been involved in an incident, there's been no injuries. So that's the main thing. The safety is paramount here, because these drivers are very exposed to the elements. Come rain, come shine, come wind, as we've had a bit of a wind coming down the main straightaway heading, which is a headwind. And that's a bit more difficult than a tailwind to negotiate, as we both talked about. But I think the predictions have gone out the window, Sarah. We don't know who will triumph and become our Winter Cup champions for 2020 here at Karting Campillos. I think the biggest thing that I can say on behalf of you and myself really is the fact that we're just looking forward to seeing what happens, because it is an open playbook. There is no strategy you need to follow. It is about just gritting your teeth, burying the throttle, and just full out, in the words of Matthias Ekström, as on his race helmet, it's go hard or go home.
Exactly that. It's going to be tough for obviously everyone out there. I think you can never really have a plan. You have a rough plan in your head for what you would like to happen, the perfect race, but you can never really plan a race. Obviously for the guys and girls going from the front row, their aim is to try and break a gap and get away from the guys behind. The toughest place is always going to be in the mid-pack. They're the guys that have got it tough really, and obviously the guys towards the back have got the hardest work to do to try and get towards the front. But as we've seen so far, up until now, it's challenging out there. There's been some tough battles, close racing, so like I say, anything can happen.
Plenty more of that to come, that's rest assured, as Zana Triblak puts up the top time in DD2 warm-up for the 34 drivers that will all be taking to the grid. It will be the same for the micros, and also for DD2 Masters, who will have their warm-up session coming up next. But a very interesting day. 2 races in, 10 more to go, and in about 5 or 6 minutes' time, at 10 past 11 local time, for those watching on the Camp Company GmbH YouTube channel, and also the official Rotax Max Euro Trophy Facebook page, where we are streaming live throughout the day, all the way through to around about 4:15 this afternoon, where we conclude the returning Winter Cup, because when the Rotax Max Euro Trophy, before that we had the Rotax Max Euro Challenge, and they ran the Winter Cup both at Valencia and also at Campillos, funnily enough. So we've and Sarah is just nodding and looking and like thinking, that's a big old grid, isn't it? So qualifying for the finals, the top 8 from each respective second chance heat, as that has now been put into effect for junior Rotax. So Edgar Wilkans starts P29 ahead of Colin Van Lammeren. Austin Lee makes it through to the finals. Great work from the American-based German, American-originated German, I might say. Alvar Zimisvara, Alexei Yalava, Alexander Mikos, Andrew Douglas, and Daniel Hunt round out the grid for the first of 2 finals, which now extend to 11 minutes plus a lap. It's the same for the Micromax drivers and for senior Rotax. DD2s and DD2 Masters, their races will be 14 minutes plus an additional lap. We'll play the hot lap in about 5 minutes' time, and then at around about 11:15, both myself and Sarah Moore will be back here in the commentary box, giving insight and hopefully plenty of exciting action as we head really into what I would call the finishing straight for the 2020 Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup, promoted and hosted by Camp Company GmbH and also NW Race Consulting. Myself and Sarah will be back in around 10 minutes' time here, up in the commentary box overlooking the start-finish straight, as we will go into our first of 10 finals. The first set of 5 will take us through to the lunch break at 1 o'clock. The group photo will take place at 1:15 this afternoon on the main straight on the start-finish line. So join myself and Sarah back then. See you very shortly. So for those listening on Downforce Radio, the feed is going to go a little bit dark for about 10 minutes. But thank you very much for listening. We'll be carrying on until around about 1 o'clock this afternoon, as we will have the first set of finals. There are 2 sets of finals, 25 points for first, 20 for second. We have points for everyone that finishes first to 15th, and the weekend winners will be decided this very afternoon. Stay tuned. We'll be with you in about 8 minutes' time. Thank you for listening, and we'll now go dark on the microphone for about 8 minutes. Well, welcome back to the continued coverage of the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup here on the official Downforce Radio Rotax radio channel that covers both the Rotax Euro Trophy and also the B&L Karting Series. Just a little bit of a reminder for those wondering when our next broadcast is. It will be in 2 weeks' time on the 7th and 8th of March at the home of champions Karting Genk in Belgium, which sees the customary kick-off with six tickets available for the International Trophy at Le Mans. So the Micromax drivers now getting into their karts, having been just having a talk with, I think, probably the race director, just making sure that everything is all okay, ready to go. And these are our youngest competitors, aged between 8 and 11. So in about a minute's time or so, they should very shortly be clearing the pre-grid, which will allow them, the drivers, to go out on the fantastic circuit here with myself and Sarah actually spending time about 45 minutes around about sort of sunset to night time. Quite interesting to see the transition of how the circuit looks very different on an evening, and it's quite a night, with the lights on in the background down in the centre of Campillos itself. It's quite a nice photo opportunity. Both myself and Sarah took some great photos. Sarah was doing her panoramic specials. But yeah, just great things here.
Much better than the weather at home.
Yeah, we're not looking forward to that at all. We're not looking forward to that at all. But yeah, it's nice that we've had quite good weather here. The sun is shining up in the sky, 15 degrees ambient air temperature, so probably going to put us in the low 20s for track temp, with the Micromax drivers running on the Mojo C2s. We will be introducing Minimax for Rotax Euro starting karting at Karting Genk in 48 days' time. Entries now hitting around 40 at the moment with those registered, so those Rotax racers, if you're listening out there, heed our call. If you want to come to the B&L Karting Series, come to visit us at Karting Genk and come and race with the best in Rotax racing that is on offer thus far. 6 tickets for the International Trophy at Le Mans to give away for all the weekend winners in Micro, Mini, Junior, Senior, DD2 and DD2 Masters. So a maximum score of 25 points on offer for the winner of each final. So in terms of the points, it will be 25 for a win, 20 for second, 16 for third, 13 for fourth, 11 for fifth, and then from 6th to 15th it goes from 10 to 1. And the finishing order in final number 1 will determine the starting order for final number 2. And again, the same points are on offer, as we are literally probably about 15 seconds away from them being released onto the rolling, the first of 2 for sighting and formation laps here at Karting Campillos, with the drivers representing the Micromax category going out onto the circuit itself as we speak. Oh, and we've got one driver, that is the number 24, that is Lorenzo Campos, having a bit of an issue on the getaway from the pre-grid. So 11 minutes plus an additional lap for the first of 10 finals here at Circuito Internacional de Karting Campillos for the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup 2020, with both myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and Sarah Moore from W Series and Racing Pride here in the commentary box. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, frog in the throat there. Mateo Dedenkovic from Belgium will start on pole position, and alongside him will be the sole Brit in this encounter, Scott Marsh in the number 47 from Dan Holland Racing. And it's Vilho Attola from JTL Racing representing Finland, with Endo Arata-san from Fukuoka Fukuoka in Japan, representing Danes Racing in 4th. Rasmus Koskinen, also from JTL Racing, and Karel Stouw from Belgium for PG Motorsport in 6th. Then it's Dean Hugendorn from the Netherlands, Alexander Klugel from Germany, Lorenzo Campos from Portugal, Santeri Laittonen from Finland, Rodrigo Seabra, aka the Wolf, running on the Cosmic chassis from Portugal, starting P11. And then we have Thomas Rudokas in 12th, ahead of Nikita Sinebok, Andrei Borodin, Tom Strele, Alvaro Jimenez Artimen from Spain, Nikita Zhubimov from Estonia, Vili Nurmi from Finland, Isman Fuentes Luque from Spain, Zdenek Babisek from the Czech Republic, Marko Pinta from Latvia, Jarmo Karinen from Finland, ahead of Donny Franz, also from Finland, Nicolas Garcia Diaz from Spain in 24th, ahead of Miro Leskinen, Yazin Nadim, one of 2 Egyptians here this very weekend, João Barros and Eric Paulson from GTS Racing Energy España. The last of the 28 drivers out on circuit. And great control from both Radenkovic and Marsh. Radenkovic has the upper hand as the Belgian has got pole position after 2 race wins yesterday. Scott Marsh put it on pole and took a race victory yesterday, but between the pair, Radenkovic stole the victory from Scott Marsh on the final heat yesterday afternoon, which gives us a bit of a sign of things to come, as there are a few stragglers at the back of the grid as the majority of the field makes their way through to turn 16, and the last 6 to 7 carts make their way into the formation. They've got to be ready to go into the tram lines as they come around the final corner, which they do now. Radenkovic on pole, Marsh alongside, revs rise, and we go lights out off into turn 1 for the first time. 11 minutes starting to click down as we go up the hill for the first time. Marsh has lost out. I think he's down a bit further down the order. Looks to be P4 at the minute. Radenkovic has got the initial advantage, and it looks like Viho Atola is now up into second. Marsh gets past Arata, it looks like, going through turn 5, up the hill to 6, now into 7. Over the crest they've come. Down into the right-hander at turn 9 before the steep descent into turn 10, where it's a little bit bumpy as they break into turn 11 for the first time. And it looks like the top 8 are pretty much with each other. Rodrigo Seabra, in the meantime, is just behind Santeri Laittonen. They were battling tooth and nail yesterday afternoon, with Seabra having a great recovery from 14th to 7th in the last heat yesterday afternoon. And Jarmo Karinen is battling away with the 25 of the Czech Republic's Babisek, as the leaders now come through to turn 16 and now turn 17 for the first time to complete lap number 1 here at Karting Campillos. So Marsh is on the hunt. He's got Atola from Finland up in front and leading the way after lap 1 by just under 0.2 of a second. It is Radenkovic from Belgium with the Buvin Power Squad fielding several drivers, including Luka Leisler and Zander Przyblak, amongst other. I think even Tima Aroshin is in their awning this weekend, as there's quite a train starting to emerge, probably towards the bottom part of the top 13, which is led by Radenkovic. Atola in second, who's been hustled down into turn 9 by Marsh, and the Brits got a good run going into turn 10. Then the battle behind is Karel Stouw and Endo Arata from Japan. Arata just ahead of the Belgian in the 33 with PG Motorsport. Then it's SP. Then it looks like we've got Dean Hugendorn, who looks to be racing in SP Motorsport colours this weekend. And just behind there is Alexander Klugel from Kartspiel.de, representing Germany on the Mach 1 chassis. As Arata is getting bump drafted by Karel Stouw going into turn 16, but the Belgian not able to use an opportunity to get past. Whereas a little bit further, looks like there's a bit of a feisty wolf in the form of Rodrigo Seabra. So Seabra on the move once again, as he was in the last heat. He's right behind the number 15 of Thomas Rudokas, it looks like. So Rodrigo Seabra currently sitting in 13th position. 8 minutes and 23 seconds plus an additional lap left to go here. So Karel Stouw still in 5th, and the train at the front is going to be the top 7 a line astern. And when they came across the line, it was Radenkovic leading, and in the back of the train, it's Alexander Klugel from Germany. They were separated by just under 1.9 seconds. Could driver number 237, Carl Gustav Borgard, please report to the stewards immediately. 237, Carl Gustav Borgard, please report to the stewards immediately. As I've just seen Lorenzo Campos battling away with Rasmus Koskinen, and I think there's another driver involved in that mix. Could be Santeri Laitonen from JTL Racing representing Finland. As the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th is really heating up right now. And it's being led by Arata-san from Japan. And then it's Karel Stout. Then it's Hugendorn. Alexander Klugel is a little bit further adrift in 7th position at the minute. And just behind them, crossing the line, it's Lorenzo Campos from Portugal. Ahead of Santeri Laitonen, Rasmus Koskinen, Thomas Rudokas, and Nikita Sinevok with Rodrigo Seabra still in 13th position. As there's a move by Hugendorn on the inside of Stout through the exit of turn 4. He does the switch back up into turn 6, makes the move stick past the Belgian, and then Klugel is running the back bumper of Lorenzo Campos. So a lot of action here in Micromax. They're doing a really great job showcasing that this is the initial ladder, part of the ladder on the Rotax racing family, and the Micromax drivers are really composed. As up the inside of looks to be Rasmus Koskinen goes Rudokas, and there is also the 75 of Santeri Laitonen involved in that mixture. And just behind them looks like Rudokas or Sinevok as Lorenzo Campos is out. Campos is out of the race, and just on the outside of the exit of, actually going into turn 7. So Lorenzo Campos won't score any points as the number 69, Vilho Artola, is now battling away with Alexander Klugel from Germany. That's the battle for 6th. They've got Karel Stout ahead, along with Endo Arata in 3rd, and then it's Dean Hugendorn from the Netherlands running on the Kart Republic chassis. We've gone past close to the halfway distance. Great side by side there. That looks to be Arata battling away with Karel Stout, I believe, in the number 30. No, that might not be him. It's side by side down into turn 10. Was that Hugendorn round the outside? That's a great move. He's pulled that round the outside of the Japanese driver. Great work from Dean Hugendorn. As Alexander Klugel trying to go up the inside of Karel Stout and makes the move into 5th place past the Belgian. But Stout has got great power coming round and puts it round the outside of the German through turn 13. Great scrap there. And at the back of that is Vilho Artola from Finland, who's got a ringside seat a little bit further down the order. I just spotted drivers like I think that might be Eric Paulson. It's a little bit further down the order, has just been passed by the number 21 of Marco Plinta from Finland. More positional changes happening. There's a great set of battles. This is nearly 3 abreast between Stout, Klugel and also Vilho Artola. 4 minutes and 47 to go, plus an additional lap on the clock for the first of 2 Micromax finals. Radenkovic has only got a slender lead, and it's not going to be that easy, because right on the back bumper is Scott Marsh from the United Kingdom with Dan Holland Racing in the 47 as they go to the crest at turn 8. Down the hill they come, line astern, into the right at 9. The lead battle is quite clearly on right now as we go into the second half of this race. And then the battle with Klugel, Artola and also Stout is really heating up, and that's the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th position. Dean Hugendorn and Endo Arata are embroiled in their own battle, and that is for 3rd position. As Klugel runs wide, Karel Stout takes a tighter apex through turns 13 and 14 and gets on the back bumper, slingshots past the German into the approach on turn 16 through the slight right kink. Quite deceptive there at turn 15. As Radenkovic still has a lead at the moment, but great work from Karel Stout to get himself up into P5. 3 minutes and 34 to go. Top 15 at the moment. It's Radenkovic, Marsh, Hugendorn, Arata, Stout, Klugel, Artola. That's the top 7 with Rudokas, Koskinen and Sinevok, Laitonen, Zhubimov, Fuentes Luque, Borodin, and also Strelec. Seabra now sitting in 16th position. So the Portuguese driver's got to make some moves now to get some points on the board, and this is quite crucial. And Karel Stout, it's a cat and mouse game for 5th place at the moment. Karel Stout doing a great defensive job ahead of Alexander Klugel and Artola from Finland, with no answer by Arata-san on Hugendorn, running in 3rd and 5th as they go through the exit of turn 14. Great sweeping corner there. Great sweeping corner. And they gain the momentum as Stout has got Klugel bump drafting him as we've got yellow flags. Yellow flags at turn 15 as a driver that's pulled off to the side of the circuit. Marshall team have assisted as they come across the start-finish line. And it still looks to be that Matej Radenkovic still leads. Campos out, unfortunately. So we've still got this battle at the front, a fantastic encounter, and we've got 3 scraps through the top 7, so it's 1st and 2nd. That's Radenkovic ahead of Marsh. So that's Belgium versus the UK. Then it's the Netherlands and Japan for 3rd and 4th with Hugendorn and Arata embroiled. Marsh bump drafting Radenkovic down the hill into turn 11, and the Brit is just biding his time, waiting for the opportunity to strike, as is Arata-san, who strikes now on Hugendorn up the inside of turn 12. Nice work by the Japanese driver, as now the number 75 is Anthony Laetonen gets up the inside of Nikita Zinabok. So another Finn makes a move up the order, as there's a great move a little bit further down, as Zhubimov and Fuentes Luque battling over what is effectively 12th position. Rodrigo Seabra is not having a great day in the office at the minute, as he's battling way tooth and nail. Looks to be in about 16th or 17th position. Looks like we're possibly going to go on to what is the penultimate lap of this race. They're running on a 1 minute 14, approximately a 1 minute 13.102 from Radenkovic, and Marsh was only... Well, Marsh has got the lead. Marsh has got the lead from Radenkovic. He's decided to go for it. He got a great run coming out of the final corner and managed to slingshot past the Belgian as they go up the hill into turn 7 and 8. Now down the hill towards 9. A steep descent here. And then it's a bit like an extended chicane as they take the right-hand sweeper at 9. Down the hill into 10. Into the short braking zone into turn 11. And now Marsh leads, but Radenkovic has the momentum, has the slipstream. Bump drafts the Brit going into turn 12. Hugendorn in the meantime has got back past Arata-san for P3. And it's Artola that leads the battle for 5th position ahead of Karel Stout and Alexander Klugel. Rounding out the top 10, it's Rotax and Koskinen battling over what is effectively 8th position, with Sinebok looking to be... So the timer will expire as they come through the final corner and go onto the back straightaway. Oh, we're going to have this. Oh, that was close. That was close. That's final lap. That is the final lap. The checkered flag. That was on the line that they crossed the finish line, and it was only a 10th or just over a 10th between 1st and 2nd. As Karel Stout goes up the inside of Iho, Artola again. And the battle for 3rd still rages on between Hugendorn and Arata-san. Arata-san on the back foot, but they're side by side through turn 8. The Japanese driver, I think, has made the move, and he's made it through before turn 9. That is done. What a move. And now, because they're battling away, Karel Stout could even be with an opportunity for even 4th or even 3rd place as the leaders come through turn 12 for the final time. As Artola goes defensive on Klugel, that's down in 6th position, and now it's nigh on a 5-way scrap on the final lap of the race as there's more caramel. It's 3 wide down the hill, down in the back part of the field going into turn 11. And they've kept it going. But now the leader's coming through the final couple of corners, round turn 18, by about half a kart length. The checkered flag will wave for Matej Radenkovic from Belgium. By 0.266 ahead, well, I'm just keeping an eye on the times, just over a 10th of a second ahead of Scott Marsh from the United Kingdom. Endo Arata looks to have taken 3rd place ahead of Dean Hugendorn. I think maybe even that Karel Stout, I think, has secured 5th with that effort. As there's some round of applause from the gantry where the mechanics are cheering, motivating their drivers quite considerably. But Matej Radenkovic wins the first Micromax final in Euro Trophy history by just over a tenth of a second ahead of Great Britain's Scott Marsh. Dean, looks like, right, well, we've got the second chance heats, but I do know for a fact that it was Scott Marsh that came second. In third place, I think it was Arata-san from Japan. Dean Hugendorn was fourth. Carol Stout was fifth. So I'm just going to try and... So we'll... when we get to the lunch break, sorry for the timing issue there. We had the second chance heat showing up on the timing there, so that's right. So we've now got all the rest of we all got all the rest of the grids. As a big thank you once again to Hyundai Gibraltar for the 2020 brand new Hyundai Tucson being our official recovery vehicle. And there has been a time penalty for pushing for Andrei Borodin. We'll confirm the results a little bit later on once I have them, when we get the grids for the second finals, where we will be heading down onto the grids to try and see if we can get some words with the drivers ahead of the second final. It's a bit compact for the morning's action. A quick reminder for the paddock: we will need all drivers, that's all 200 of you, from 29 different nationalities, on the start-finish line for the official group photo in your race suits, and also bring your race helmets with you for the official group photo, because you guys will have an opportunity to be given a chance to be showcased as part of the Rotax racing family. An epic day yesterday, and now it has just really started kicking up the rev range once again, as the sun continues to shine down on us here at Karting Campillos in Spain, based in Ara, also north of Malaga Airport. So the finishing order is Mateo Radenkovic from Scott Marsh. Endo Arata was third ahead of Dean Hugendorn from the Netherlands. Karel Stout took fifth place ahead of Vilho Atola. Alexander Klugel in seventh. Thomas Rodokas in eighth ahead of Rasmus Koskinen, Santeri Laitonen, Nikita Sinebok, Ismail Fuentes Luque, Nikita Zhubimov and Donny Franson Villeneuve rounding out the top 15. So they all scored points. Rounding out the order was Leskinen, Barros, Kardinen, Streres, Yabra, Jimenez Artimen, Plinta and Babisek were the drivers that rounded out the top 23. Then Garcia Diaz and Borodin were the last of the finishers, with Eric Poulsen and unfortunately Egypt's Yassin Nadim not finishing the race, with Lorenzo Campos actually finishing DNFing on lap number 4 there. And this is where it gets interesting, because now we have a capacity grid for Junior Rotax. The second of 10 finals about to get underway. A full capacity grid of 36 drivers. Quick word from you, Sarah. Brilliant action out there. The Micromax drivers have really put on a show for us this weekend, haven't they?
They did. They pulled it out the bag with that one. Scott clearly was just biding his time there. Tried to go for it with a few laps to go. But you can see that the headwind out there down the main start and finish straight plays quite a big part out there at the moment. Which is where he lost the lead by the looks of it, going back into the first sector. But we've got final 2 coming up later this afternoon, so I'm sure we'll be looking to get back in that one.
That'll be the first of the second finals we'll have this afternoon, starting at around about 2 this afternoon local time. So if you're in the UK, that'll be 12:45. We hope you're all sitting comfortably, because we know that some of you are going to be at the edge of your seats, which is why I'm standing up. But it's been an interesting first final for the micros. So the advantage goes to Matej Radenkovic, heading into the second final later on this afternoon. And our podium today will be at approximately 4:15 local time here at Karting Campillos. Hopefully we're going to try and get a couple of guests up here during the lunch break after we've had the customary photo. 11 minutes plus an additional lap for the first of 2 junior Rotax finals. Your grid, at full capacity, 36 thereof, is as follows. Olli Pilka, following the intermediate classification after yesterday's qualifying heats, is on pole position. Last year's runner-up in the Euro Trophy. Eliska Babikova will be alongside him on the front row. Daniel Ginchard and Aaron Walker will be on row 2. Tomas Stolzemanis and Marcus Lucio, row 3. Petra Babikova and Tom Braken, row 4, with Morris Schmeiss and Sam Gornall rounding out the top 10. The sole Georgian out of the 29 different nationalities, Alexander Abkazava, is on the inside of row number 6. Alongside will be from the Netherlands, Lucas Schoenmakers. Alvid Rosen and Farin Mega round out the top 7 rows ahead of Tim Gerhardt and Daniel Armstrong from Dan Holland Racing. Kai Kaler starts 17th. Alongside will be it's just such a very interesting dynamic here. Aguilera from Spain, Milan Ritter and Theo Eriksson round out the top 20 ahead of Alibi from South Africa, as there's one pulling off to the side. Make that 2 carts. Well spotted, Sarah. Yellow flags at turn 2 there, so we could be down to 34 already. So both drivers out of their carts, one stuck in the gravel on the outside of turn 4. So it'll be Alibi, you'll have Reynolds, Voisin, Nick Gerhardt, Outleitner, Halika, Klus, Pernier, Vilkans, Van Lammeren, Lee, Zimisvara, Yalava, Mikos, Douglas and Hunt. The last 8 were those that qualified via the second chance heat earlier on this morning. So still plenty of action throughout the day still to come here at Karting Campillos. Big thank you to the team here. Right, one of this, that's Farin Mega. Farin Mega is out before we've even gone and started. That's an empty position on row number 7. That would have been on the outside. So the drivers make their way through to the final corner. As we just wait for them to get going. They go through the rev range. The lights do go out for final 1 for Junior Rotax, and they are scrambling all over each other on the right-hand side of the track, heading into turn 1 for the very first time. And it's 2, 3 abreast. It's going to get very dicey. There are some nearly tripping all over each other, and someone who's lost a handful of places going up the hill through turns 2, 3 and 4. Pilka leads. Babikova looks to be in second, or maybe even Aaron Walker. Could be a strawberry 2, 3 at the minute. As Babikova is in second, Walker in third, Lucio looks to have got up into 5th place, Daniel Ginchard down in 5th. As they come down, no, Ginchard still in 4th place ahead of Marcus Lucio. And then we've got the 2:18 of SP Motorsports, Tom Braken, as it's nearly 3 abreast. Nice work there by Daniel Armstrong, up the inside on turn 12. Morris Schmeiss is a bit down in the order at the minute. The 210 from JJ Racing representing Germany. And the other one was Sam Gornall. Sam Gornall was the other one that looked to have pulled off the circuit. He's all the way down. He's the one that actually dropped all the way down the order. So Sam Gornall who was in 10th position, ended up going straight down to the back part of the field. But is he still running is the biggest question that I've got right now, as the field makes its way up. As there's going to be a move for second here. That could be the Aaron Walker. And oh, that was close between him and Eliska Babikova. As now behind them, it's going to be a question that Marcus Lucio and Tom Bracken will be behind them and chase them down. As they go down the hill, more changes for position. There's a big train of carts at the back part of the field from around about 26th onwards. As they come hurtling down the field. And the top 5 could very closely be the top 7, with Tom Bracken and Tomas Stolsamanis, respectively, both from Belgium and Latvia. Tom Bracken running on the Kart Republic chassis with SP Motorsports. As there's some great battling up and down the order, especially with the 207 of Austin Lee, battling with Valentin Klus and Andrew Douglas. So Sam Gordon and Farin Mega out of the running at the moment. Down to 34 competitors we are, as we now go across the start-finish line once again. 8 minutes and 44 plus an additional lap left to go. And at the minute, the lead is now still in the hands of Olli Pilka, but he's having a tough time because there are now carts swarming all over, and he's lost the lead. He's regained it, and up the inside, Pilka gets swamped from all corners, from front, back, and besides. Daniel Ginchard up into second. One of the Strawberry Racing drivers could be Aaron Walker, I think, that's taken the lead. So, great work from Daniel Ginchard. Olli Pilka might have bogged down as Tom Bracken looks to have a bit of difficulty coming down into turn 11. He's outside of the top 6 now. He's behind now the 229 of Miro Halika from Finland, but he sends it up the inside of the fin through turn 12. The bumps compromise him, and he nearly comes into being clattered into by Theo Eriksson from Norway. But the battle at the front of the field is really heating up. The top 3 trying to mount a breakaway. Marcus Lucio, and it looks like Eliska Babikova could be in 5th, or is she in the lead of this race? It's Aaron Walker from Strawberry Racing, Daniel Ginchard from KR Sport, Olli Pilka rounds out the top 3, and then just behind it's Marcus Lucio that's showing in 3rd. Olli Pilka's down in 4th. Behind him is Eliska Babikova. This has absolutely changed things dramatically. The top 5, if they keep battling the way they are, they were split by 8.5 tenths of a second last time around. And then they've got Schoenmaker's Daniel Armstrong has done a great job. He started P16. He's P7. So that's a gain of 9 positions already. And with him is Alexander Abkazava from Georgia. This is brilliant racing here from the juniors. A bit unfortunate that we've lost both Farin Mega and Sam Gordon. I'm sure they will factor in to the second final later on, but their chances of a victory here at Campillos are well and truly thrown asunder. And Babikova on the back bumper of Pilka. Remember yesterday when she stole the lead from him on the last lap? She's stolen 4th position from him through turn 16. So still Aaron Walker trying to break away from Daniel Ginchard, who is not letting him out of his clean line of sight. Marcus Lucio, it's a British 1-2-3 in junior final 1 here at Campillos. Babikova, well, it's showing that Pilka's now in 3rd, so Pilka's had a bit more of a good run. Now he's chasing down Ginchard. And for those that don't already know, Daniel Ginchard is also of Polish descent as well. So in some respects, well, he is running under a British licence, so we're going to call him a British competitor here. But good to see that his mum Violetta's keeping well with the new addition to the family quite recently. So Daniel trying to do his very best. He's got a real good feeling at KR Sport as a youngster, based just outside of London. Aaron Walker from Strawberry Racing still leads. Dan Ginchard 2nd, Olli Pilka in 3rd. Some good battling, and I can just see Nick Gerhardt's going through turn. That's a great move up the inside of the 220 from Nick Gerhardt, and the 220 is Milan Ritter. They're battling over around what is 14th position. Top 15 at the moment. Aaron Walker leads. Now it is Olli Pilka in 2nd. He's overtaken Dan Ginchard, who's now in 3rd. Now it's Babikova, Lucio, Sean Markers, Abkazava, Dan Armstrong now in 8th, Maurice Schmeiss in 9th, Petra Babikova in 10th, Tom Bracken down in 11th position, having run as high as 6th so far. Theo Eriksson, Arvid Rosen, Milan Ritter and Marco Aguilera now in the top 15. Nick Gerhardt is ahead of Tim Gerhardt, which is a surprising development, I think, probably for either of them. They would hope to be a bit further up the order, but this is their first competition as junior Rotax drivers. But Ginshard swarming all over the back bumper of Ollie Pilka, heading into turn 12. Takes the wider line to cut into the apex a bit tighter, and he's wrestling the kart. And he's not only that, he's wrestling with Ollie Pilka. Pilka was the runner-up in last year's Rotax Max Euro Trophy Junior Division behind Mike van Vugt, who successfully defended his title. But I think we're looking at what could be the two drivers that will be part of those that will fight for the Euro Trophy Championship this year, starting in 48 days on April 10th. That's the Easter Bank holiday weekend. 4 minutes and 23 to go. Miro Halika is our third unfortunate retirement from this race. Kai Gielers, despite a rib injury, the young Belgian in the 274, also from JJ Racing, now is up into P18, and he's about 6.5 tenths behind the Gerhard brothers, with Tim now ahead of Nick in 16th. And now Eliska Babikova is closing on the back bumper of Daniel Ginshard. She's clearly got the head down. Marcus Lutzio a little bit further adrift in 5th place. Lukas Schoenmakers is being followed by Alexander Abkazava from Georgia. Daniel Armstrong rounds out the top 8. All covered by just under 3 seconds on the last lap, which was lap number 6. We're on to lap 7 now, as Babikova goes up the inside of Ginshard. The 3rd place through turn 16. Neatly covers the apex for 17 as they come around the final corner. Now Ginshard has the run of momentum, has the toe, which Babikova is trying to break. Warning flag for 274, that's Kai Gielers. As Ginshard was trying to make a move on Babikova through turn 1, didn't have enough chance or opportunity to do so. But now the top 7 are nigh on line astern, and we've got 3 minutes to go plus an additional lap on this race. And at the minute, Alexander Abkazava is closing quickly on Lukas Schoenmakers. And that is for 6th position. Daniel Armstrong looking a little bit lonely in 8th, but what a great debut for him so far for Dan Holland Racing, having been a privateer last season. Looks behind to see how far Morris Schmeiss is behind. Then we've got Petra Babikova in the 266 in 10th. Then it's Tom Brake, Theo Eriksson, Arvid Rosen. And then a little bit further behind, we've got the 235 of Callum Voisin. Kai Gielers just up ahead of him in 18th position. As now Babikova goes side by side with Aaron Walker for 2nd. 5-second penalty for the 233, causing a collision, and 236 has received one. But Eliska Babikova, I think, might have just nearly got there, but there is a change for 2nd position. And that is Babikova again up into 2nd. But now Aaron Walker responds. Dan Ginshard trying to go up the inside, heading into turn number 8. Can't go through quite yet. So it's Pilka now leading, and he's pulling away. He's starting to pull away. He's got 1 3/4 minutes plus an additional lap to just keep going and just keep the blinkers on. But then the scrap behind is being led by Aaron Walker. It's got Eliska Babikova, Dan Ginshard. And then we've also got the 241 of Marcus Lutzio, the 202 of Lukas Schoenmakers, and Alexander Abkazava rounding out the top 7. As Schoenmakers goes up the inside of Abkazava, forces him wide, and that's sorry, my apologies there. There was Marcus Lutzio, so Lutzio forced wide by Schoenmakers, and Abkazava gets through. Well, Abkazava was a little, as Daniel Armstrong has got, so the running order now is Pilka, from Aaron Walker, Eliska Babikova, Daniel Ginshard. Top 4 now breaking away slightly. Abkazava now up into 5th. Schoenmakers into 6th. Lutzio 7th. Daniel Armstrong now is going to be quite close to them, I fear. And they were separated by just over 3.3 seconds on that particular lap. So still plenty of action left to go in this race. We still have about 25 seconds. So this time we are pretty much going to be on the penultimate lap, I think. So we could get the final lap board very, very shortly indeed. So 2 drivers have been given 5-second penalties for causing a collision. As we now go, that's 207 that's got a warning flag. They cross the start-finish line with about 5 seconds. So we go on to the penultimate lap. The timer has now expired as they go through turns 3 and 4. Up into 5. Pilka still leading. Babikova now in second. Aaron Walker in third. Dan Ginchard in fourth position. And they've dropped Georgia's Alexander Akazava, who's now in fifth. Lucas Schoenmakers in sixth. Marcus Lutzio in eighth. Daniel Armstrong in seventh. And Daniel Armstrong in eighth. Morris Schmeiss in ninth. Petra Babikova running at the top 10. Running at the top 15, who will score points. Tom Brache, Arvid Rosen, Theo Eriksson, Tim Gerhards and Milan Ritter rounding out the top 15. Please be advised that all results as called by myself are provisional pending any sporting and technical checks. So we could now have a very interesting dynamic as the battle for third is quite clearly on. Ginchard definitely looking very racy right now. They're going to go on to the final lap with Pilka having a great lead. Ginchard battling away with Babikova as they cross the stripe for the penultimate time. Last lap it is. Ginchard swarming all of the back bumper of the Strawberry Racing driver Babikova in the 296. Trying to go for third. So final lap board being given. Aaron Walker now is ahead. I'm just keeping an eye on what's happening because there is so much happening at the front of the order. Babikova in third behind Aaron Walker. Alexander Abkazava has got a really, really good purchase here. He's trying to close on Dan Ginchard, who's now in fourth place. Leaders now as Ginchard sends it up the inside from way back up the inside of Babikova, who starts bump drafting him outside of turn 12. And then Alexander Abkazava goes on the back bumper of the Czech driver as they head down towards turn 15 and 16 for the final time. Babikova won't have an opportunity now to do her customary up the inside on turn 16, but could she get the run on the brick coming out to the final corner? It's going to be close. Olli Pilka takes the checkered flag. Aaron Walker second. Dan Ginchard takes third. Eliska Babikova takes fourth place ahead of Alexander Abkazava, with Lukas Schoenmakers, Marcus Lutzio, Daniel Armstrong, Morris Schmeiss, Petra Babikova rounding out the top 10. A dynamite first final for the Junior Max drivers here at Karting Campillos in Spain. So that's one final out of the way for Junior Rotax. And their next one will be at 2:10 this afternoon local time here. So at the minute we have Tom Brache confirmed in 11th ahead of Arvid Rosen, Theo Eriksson, Tim Gerhards and Milan Ritter, who round out the top 15 positions. Callum Voisin from the United Kingdom takes 16th ahead of Akil Alabai from South Africa. Kai Hillertz in 18th position ahead of Nick Gerhards and Marco Aguilera, who round out the top 20. Harry Reynolds and David Outlainer round out the top 22 ahead of Valentin Klus, Colin Van Lammeren, Edgars Vilkans, Alexi Yalava, Tomas Stolzamanis, Daniel Hunt, Guillermo Pernia, Alvar Simisvara. Austin Lee finished in 31st position, and rounding out the order we had Alexander Mikos. Andrew Douglas looks to have pulled to a stop on lap number 11 unfortunately. And we had three other retirements. Miro Halika from Finland and Sam Gornall and Farin Mega did not even make it to the revised start formation that we had around about 11 and a half minutes or so ago. So we have three more finals before we go to the lunch break. A quick reminder for the paddock: all 200 drivers, you You need to be on the start-finish line at 1:15 this afternoon for the customary group photo. So all drivers will need to be in their race suits, plus also bring your race helmets with you to the start-finish line for the group photo that we will need to take. So Sarah Moore down in the pit lane with our pre-grid camera. Great job by her this weekend, both in the commentary box but also doing some interviews yesterday. And now we have 36 seniors. Those that qualified through the second chance heat a bit earlier on was Andrés Hebel, Luca Leistra, Rasmus Friedel, Paul Fokema from France, Lori Lepai from Finland, Fabian Bock from Germany, Kian Sang from the UK, and Tima Eroshin from Russia. A full capacity grid of 36 drivers here in Senior Rotax. And this is going to be the highly charged encounter, the first of two here at the 1,580 metre circuit at Circuito Internacional de Karting Campillos, with the sun ablaze on Sunday afternoon here, as we've just gone past noon local time here in Andalusia. You can just have that sense of anticipation, that sense of just waiting to go out onto the sighting and the formation lap here. It's a fantastic circuit, and we should hopefully a little bit later have the hot lap provided by Guilherme de Oliveira, who starts down in 21st position. He had a bit of a difficult heat yesterday where half of his exhaust ended up in the the front of another cart. I think that was probably when there was the incident with him and Dean McDonald yesterday. So we have 36 drivers, and on pole position will be Finland's Juho Valtonen. So we will have a great amount of action, and I will definitely do my best to keep apprised of what is happening on the action on track as it happens. A big thank you to everyone, not just listening on Rotax Radio, but also on the official watching on sound and vision on the official Camp Company GmbH YouTube channel, and also the official Rotax Max Euro Trophy Facebook page. Where we are fast approaching close to 1,800 likes. Need to call the following people to the stewards immediately. Could Robert Schlunsen from RS Competition report to the stewards? And also could I ask that driver number 233 report to the stewards immediately? So that's Robert Schlunsen from RS Competition, and also driver Junior Rotax 233 to the stewards immediately, please. Thank you. So we're running a little bit behind schedule because they've just done the clean-up operation. Great job by the recovery crew here at Campillos, and also the marshalling team around that have helped us keep as smoothly operated as possible throughout the racing weekend. So we get to the halfway point of the finals here on finals day for the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup here at Circuito Internacional de Karting Campillos, hosted and promoted by Camp Company GmbH and MW Race Consulting. So, Senior Rotax final number 1, a capacity grid of 36 drivers. Your grid order is as follows. Juho Valtonen and Matilda Olsson representing Finland and Sweden. Row number 1, numbers 302 and 323. And it's the 349 of Sean Butcher and the 371 of Zombar Kovac from Hungary on row 2. Mark Kimber in the 387 from the UK is alongside countryman Tom Edmonds in the 355 from KR Sport. Lewis Gilbert, the Dorey Diamond from Strawberry Racing, will be alongside. Sorry, my apologies there. Lewis Gilbert will be alongside Reese Hunter. Then we'll have Kian Shields and Philip Vava rounding out the top 10. Ben Casey and Ehad Turka will be on row 6 ahead of Dave Blum and Eduardo Cosateng from the Philippines. Dean McDonald and Miles Apps round out the top 16 ahead of Kai Hunter. Charlie Turner with Linus Henson and Elliot Galvanin completing the top 20. Rounding out the 36 strong is Guilherme de Oliveira, Felix Jansson, Bradley Barrett. We've got Anthony Bilou, Mads Ries, James Johnson, Storm Brewer, Maxime Turiev, Andreas Herbert, Luca Leistra, Rasmus Friedel, Paul Forkema, Laurie Lepay, Fabian Bock, Kian Sang and Tima Iroshin from Russia rounding out the 36 strong. They're now they've just had the sizing lap, they're now onto the formation lap. The timer is now extended to 14 minutes plus 1 additional lap. So we'll have about 15 and a bit minutes of action here, as the drivers now starting to get some heat into the newly CIK FIA homologated Mojo D5 CIK tyres. If it was wet weather conditions, it would be the W5s, which are newly introduced as well, but they are still the same tyre that they were last year. But now a big thank you to CIK FIA for helping to homologate them, along with Mojo's parent company, Heidenau Tyres. So now it's down to both Valtonen and Olsson to control the pace. Valtonen scored 2 victories yesterday. Olsson scored 1. Lewis Gilbert has put 1 in the bag, along with Kian Shields, Sean Butcher, Zombar Kovac, and also Tom Edmonds. So predictions are out the window for this one. We have to anticipate what is going to happen as they now start controlling the field through turn 17. For those watching on home, pole position is on the left with Juho Valtonen from Finland and Matilda Olsson from Sweden alongside. They now start to accelerate as the Rotax roar goes into life. We go lights out, and already there's 2 wheels on the grass. That's for the 349, and that's for Sean Butcher trying to go up the inside of Atola. Matilda Olsson now down into P4. Zombar Kovac will be either second or third as they hit the part of the crest of the hill at turn 5, as they all go nearly 3 abreast at some points. It's 2 by 2 side by side. The whole field getting through cleanly thus far, but it could be very, very a different story if it had come very differently. Some drivers will have to make sure they do not outbrake themselves or brake too late, or come compromised because of people braking early, as the field now makes its way through turn 12 for the very first time in this race. So Valtonen still leads. Olsson now down into P5 as the whole field. There's some great action, some great overtakes up the inside. One driver a bit towards the bottom of the top 15, losing out, and it looks like that we've got Sean Butcher and Tom Edmonds line astern, the second and third. Matilda Olsson up into 4th place. Lewis Gilbert, Zombar Kovac, Mark Kimber, Reese Hunter up into P8. Having dropped down initially, Philip Vava, Ben Casey, that's the top 10. Great work from Casey, who started on 10th. He's back up to where he was. Eduardo Cosateng, Kian Shields, Dean McDonald, Dave Blom, Charlie Turner, now up into P15. 2 places behind him is Guilherme de Oliveira, who's had a great start up to 17th, but he's behind the German driver in the name of Linus Hansen. But now the lead's going to change as Valtonen gets swarmed. Edmonds gets past not just by Matilda Olsson, but Lewis Gilbert tries to wrestle his way past the Brits for 4th position, but can't go through, and in the lead it's Sean Butcher. Sean Butcher now takes the lead away from the leader after intermediate classification following the 10 heats we had yesterday afternoon. Now it's really starting to come alive in senior Rotax. 11 minutes and 48 to go, plus an additional lap. The entire field swarming over each other like a hive of bees as the 344 of Ehad Turka gets compromised by Maxim Turiev, and clearly gesticulating, not very happy at all, was the Turkish driver, as the lead still wages on, and it's not just going to be between Sean Butcher and Juho Valtonen, who are the first two to come down the hill. They will have Matilda Olsen breathing down the back of their necks in just a couple of moments' time, along with Tom Edmonds. Then we got Lewis Gilbert. Then just behind is Mark Kimber. Then we got the 333 of Reese Hunter. Kai is in about 18th place at the moment, but trying to make some headway and get into the top 15 to score some points. But Valtonen on the back bumper of Sean Butcher as they come round the final couple of corners to complete lap number 3 here. Just under 11 minutes remaining, and it is an absolute slipstream fest all the way down to 14th position, which is Dave Blum. Blum started in 13th, so he's dropped down a position from where he originally started as everyone goes up the hill, and it's really concertinaed. And I count top 6 are literally line astern, and then from 7th to around 12th, 13th position are with each other, and that's rounded off, I think, by Eduardo Cosenteng from the Philippines. As Dean McDonald, I think, has made up a place in the process. As just behind Cian Shields, they've got Ben Casely just up ahead. Then in front of that is Philip Vava from Spain. So it is it's a dogfight out there in senior Rotax land. And Matilda Olsen going up the inside of Juho Valtonen to take second position through turn 16. Nice work from the Swede based out of Uppsala in Sweden. Home track for her is Kristianstad at the Asumring, where we visited last year, where she provisionally secured the crown and then finished it off with a victory in the first final of Vackersdorf last September. But now there is still, as long as there is breath in my body, I will be speaking as much as possible, because I think we've had a change for the lead. Olsen's hit the front. She's got past Sean Butcher. So now Matilda Olsen goes down the hill in the lead of the race, having started on P2. Valtonen P3, as there's a move up the inside for 5th place. I think that was Lewis Gilbert trying to go through, and he has got through. He's got through on Tom Edmonds. Mark Kimber trying to go through, and Gilbert goes defensive on Edmonds, who manages to force his way past. Mark Kimber does the same too, and right behind is Robert Kovac. Then also Reese Hunter is trying to make some hay and try and get past Ben Casey and Philip Vava. As again, the battle for 4th place is really heating up. I think there might have been the slightest amount of nudge there on the back bumper of Tom Edmonds as Lewis Gilbert trying to get his way past Mark Kimber and Robert Kovac clearly in the Doroi Diamond slipstream as they go across the start-finish line, and Lewis Gilbert is battling away with Mark Kimber. That's going to allow Robert Kovac an opportunity that he can't really miss out on, and that has happened. So there's been a big change there. I think Mark Kimber, having had an aggressive defence thrown in his general direction by the Doroi Diamond Lewis Gilbert, but the top 3 have started to break away, and it's battle game on between Matilda Olsen, Sean Butcher, Juho Valtonen from Finland, Tom Edmonds in P4, Mark Kimber P5, Lewis Gilbert now down into 7th behind Tom Kovac. And then you've got the 353 of Ben Casey. Then also Philip Vava. Just behind is Reese Hunter and Dean McDonald. McDonald clearly on the hunt. He was definitely showing that he wants to be there. He's gone up the inside of Hunter into turn 16 and takes the position. So puts the Brit now into P10 as everyone's fighting amongst each other. And now there's a little bit of daylight between Sean Butcher in 2nd and Juho Valtonen in 3rd. Running order at the minute. Guilherme de Oliveira now completes the top 15 behind Linus Henson, Cian Shields, Dave Blum, Reese Hunter, Dean McDonald, Philip Vava. As Matilda Olsen battles away with both Sean Butcher and Juho Valtonen. So Valtonen's got the second wind back again in his sails. As we are fast approaching the halfway point of this race, nearly 7 minutes down, just over 7 minutes plus an additional lap left to go as Olsen hits the front. Olsen is very capable of doing great defensive drives, but we have seen, not necessarily a chink in the armour, but an opportunity where drivers have been able to catch up to the Swede and pass. Take, for instance, what Mark Kimber and Lewis Gilbert did last night in the last qualifying heat of the day. It's side by side between Bradley Barrett and I think Eduardo Cosenteng through turn 13. Barrett gets through. Nice work for the Brit, and there's another move just up ahead of him. And that looks to be possibly Linus Henson battling away around about 13th, 14th or 15th position. 387 gets the black and white. and that is Mark Kimber. So up the hill, the drivers go. It's an intensely deceptive camber around the circuit. When Sarah and I were walking the track yesterday, it's quite interesting how steep the camber is, angling towards the left hand in terms of a bias is quite pronounceable, let's say. So the top four now breaking away. Looks like Tom Edmonds has got some speed and he's catching up to Juho Valtonen, and he's dropping Mark Kimber a little bit. Kimber was about 9/10 of a second off of his fellow countryman last time around, as we are now on lap number 8 of this encounter. 5 minutes and 38 seconds to go in this race. Olsson's now lost out the lead as Sean Butcher now gets past the Swede, Finland, and then Great Britain in the form of Juho Valtonen and Tom Edmonds. We go into the latter part as another move up there. Great work by Matilda Olsson to fight back against Sean Butcher as she takes the lead back on turn 3 and 4. Down the hill from 5 into the left at 6. Then it is 7, 8. Down the first part of the descent through towards turns 10 and 11. Through the right hand sweeper at 9. Down into 10. Deep braking zone here. Very aggressive on the brakes, but you've got to turn in, rotate the carts, and then push out. As again, Butcher goes up the inside of Olsson to retake the lead through turn 12. Edmonds sizing up Valtonen. Olsson trying to get past Butcher. It's absolutely a stalemate. Changes of positions happening up and down the order. And there's a move past the 344 of Ehad Turka. Looks like Andreas Hebel has made some great hay. He's made a great way up the order. I think that puts him in about 25th position for the Frenchman with Dams Racing. As now bump drafting goes Matilda Olsson. 362 gets a warning flag. That's Maxim Turiev from Russia. This time Butcher holds on to the lead going through turns 3. Up the hill towards 4, 5. Down the dip into 6. Into the left. Into the right at 7. 8 to the crest of the hill, the top part of the circuit. And whilst they're fighting, I can sense that Mark Kimber, Zsombor Kovac, Dean McDonald, Lewis Gilbert, Philip Vava, just behind Ben Casely, who's in 9th at the moment, could be catching up. And I'm just keeping an eye the top 12, rounded up by Guilherme de Oliveira, as Valtonen has got past Olsson, as has Tom Edmonds. Olsson down into P4, Guilherme de Oliveira now up into P12. And at the minute, the fastest lap is being set by a Sony Vitesse driver. Bradley Barrett on an absolute mission, now rounds out the top 15. So second to around about 10th is really, really close. I'm going to watch the indexes on the deltas. And between 1st to 12th, that's Sean Butcher leading for KR Sport, and a KR Sport driver in 12th, Guilherme de Oliveira. They are separated by 3.7 seconds, and de Oliveira close up by over 0.3 of a second on Reese Hunter. So still 2 minutes and 49 seconds plus an additional lap left to go in this race. And now it's the KR Sport 1-2. As now Sean Butcher leads the way in the 3:49, making his Euro Trophy rookie appearance debut here this weekend. And it's a 1-2. It's a British 1-2 as Tom Edmonds in the 3:55 from KR Sport is in second. Juho Valtonen from SP Motorsport on the Kart Republic chassis in the 3:02 representing Finland. Third, Matilda Olsson, 3:23 from Strawberry Racing from Sweden. P4, Zsombor Kovac, Dean McDonald now is 1.5 seconds off of the leader. As now Olsson goes up the inside to try and take the position from Juho Valtonen. And that was an absolute dynamite manoeuvre from Zsombor Kovac. But then that allows the door to be open for both Dean McDonald and Mark Kimber, who have now got through into 5th and 6th position. So Kovac, I think, went a bit too hot into turn 5. Turn 6 hit the curbs and it unsettled the Hungarian and put both McDonald and Kimber out in front in 5th and 6th. Lewis Gilbert now in 8th place still, and he's got Philip Vava behind. Then it's Ben Casely, Reese Hunter, who's been closed in by Guilherme de Oliveira, who took 0.4 of a second out of him on the last lap and has now taken 11th through turn 16. Bradley Barrett looks to be now in, that is about 14th position. So he's got past Dave Blom. He's got Linus Hansen from Germany up in front. So Bradley Barrett looking to score the maiden points for Sode Vitesse on its debut in Europe. So first and second, it's still Butcher and Edmonds leading the way. Olsson third, Vartanen in fourth place, McDonald, Kimber, Kovac, Gilbert, Casey, Vava, De Oliveira, Hunter, Henson, Barrett, Blom, Kostateng, Kai Hunter, Elia Galvanin, Charlie Turner and Kian Shields rounding out the top 20. And there's been a penalty issued to the 362, and that is Maxim Turiev from Russia. 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. And I'm just keeping an eye on the lap times between probably the top three, and the fastest out of them was Tom Edmonds. Let's see what the times are now as they cross the start-finish line to start lap number 14. Matilda Olsen was quicker than the leader by just over 1/10 and a half of a second. 0.17 to be pretty much precise. And whilst Edmonds is trying to battle his way past Sean Butcher for the lead, as the timer has now expired, 14 minutes have now gone. We're on to the penultimate lap as the leaders head down into turn 9 for the penultimate time of this race. So Olson's got a bit of clean air, and there's been a disaster. A bit of a disaster looks to be for the 346 maybe. Oh, that could be the 344, not too sure. But great work by our camera crew to pick that up. That looks to be a particular, might have been somebody. I'm just trying to keep an eye on that at the moment, but the action is fast and furious out on the circuit. As Edmonds and Butcher still battling away over the lead. This is allowing Matilda Olsson to close. But not just that, Bartonen's coming under pressure from Dean McDonald. Mark Kimber not too far adrift either as we go into the final lap of the race. As there's more defending going on, and Valtonen's lost out. Valtonen's lost out to McDonald, who runs wide coming out of turn 1. The Vin pounces up the inside of the brick going through turn 3. Up the hill into turn 4. Now into turn 5. Matilda Olsen now with the leaders as that three-way scrap for the victory in final number 1 here in Senior Rotax. They come down towards turn 9, the right-hand sweeper for the final time. And Butcher and Edmonds have controlled things for quite a distance, but Olsson now looks back, sees she's got clean air, which means she can fight. And she will fight, and she's closed right up about half a cart length behind Tom Edmonds. And now the run down to turn 4, 15 and 16 for the final time with the leaders. But the battle for fourth not over yet as Mark Kimber goes up the inside of Dean McDonald to take P5 on the 16th corner, round the final corner. It's going to be a win, and that is for Sean Butcher. Tom Edmonds takes second. Matilda Olsson takes third place. Juho Valtonen in fourth. Mark Kimber steals it with just 2 corners to go to take P5 from Dean McDonald. Zombar Kovac in 7th, Lewis Gilbert in 8th place. Ben Casely 9th, Philip Vava in 10th, Reese Hunter, Bradley Barrett, Dave Blom, Eduardo Kostateng and Kai Hunter, provisionally speaking, complete the top 15 drivers who all score points in this race, subject to any technical and sporting checks. Rounding out the order from this race, apologies on the screen, we've got the micro final showing up there, but we've got Elia Galvanin in 16th, Charlie Turner 17th, Keen Shields back to 18th at the checkered flag, Maz Rees 19th, Maxim Turiev, who got a penalty, in 20th, provisionally speaking, Anthony Bilou, Felix Jansson, Miles Apps, Andreas Hebert, Tima Eroshin, Rasmus Friedel, Luca Leistra, Storm Breuer, James Johnson, Kian Sang, Fabian Bock, Paul Fokema, Laurie Lepai rounded out, and I think that might have been the 305. That was Guilherme de Oliveira. So him and Linus Henson, I think, have tangled, and that is the case. I see them up on the exit of the left-hander at turn 4. So they retired with just 2 laps, with about a lap and a bit to go, with Erhard Turka unfortunately retiring on lap number 12 here in Senior Rotax, final number 1. Apologies there on the Downforce radio feed. We had a slight technical issue, so I've had to try and reset and recalibrate, so apologies for that. We are now back live. We have got one more race before the lunch break, so apologies for the inconvenience. We will make sure the relevant audio is online, so this live broadcast will be replaced just after the race weekend. So just bear with us as we're about to go live with DD2 Masters. So we now come to our last set of finals. Great camera work down there by Sarah Moore. Great work by Sarah down there in the pits as the scrutineering post-race is underway down in the Parc Fermé for us here. So, final number one for DD2 Masters here at Circuito Internacional de Karting Campillos. It's been a very good weekend after recovering from a significant injury at the Grand Finals in Sano last year for Slavomir Baranski from 4016, who lines up on pole position. Alongside him will be Piquet's Competition's French hotshot, that is Rudy Champion, who lines up alongside the Polish driver on row 1. Andreas Schindler from RS Competition is on row number 2. On the inside on third place, alongside him will be France's Bruno dos Santos in the 503. Marco Winkler running on the Sodi Kart chassis representing Germany on the number 566 will be on the inside of row number 3, and alongside him 14-time Grand Finals competitor for Team Belgium and also a DD2 Masters and Max Masters champion in the Grand Finals, Christoph Adams from Belgium, number 555, will be alongside him on row number 3. Jan Carlson on the 507, who's running with KH Racing on the Birol chassis, will be on the inside of row number 4. Alongside will be Ido Adrisani, who is actually a non-starter. Also, we've got Konrad Bayer, who I think has decided to give up the Ghost as a part of his ribs, so we'll be down to 14 competitors. So we'll have Karl Klebot, also known as De Bakker, in his native Belgium, based out of Flanders region. He starts P8. Franck Lavin on the Sodi chassis, representing France, will be on 9th place in the 536. The 502 of our 42 competitions, Klaus Barnett, running on the Kart Republic chassis, representing Germany, will start on 10th position. On the OTK chassis from the Netherlands, Frederick Bakert in the 553. We'll have Tanu Yildiz from Germany, the 572, on the Cosmic chassis on 12th position. Rodrigo Pinilos on the Mach 1 chassis, representing Kartschmied.de and also his nation of Germany, will be in 13th ahead of Birol Baltics, Maxim Shaposhiko from Russia. 14 minutes on the clock. Red lights on the starting gantry. They go as and we go racing in DD2 Masters for their first final of the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup. Great pick-up there by Sarah Moore as they hurtle their way into turn 1 for the first time. So up the hill they go. And already we've had a change. Andreas Schindler's got past Rudy Champion for 2nd position. And right behind them looks to be Bruno dos Santos. Marco Winkler looks to be in 5th position at the minute. And just behind will be Christoph Adams, as they come down the hill for the first time. And just behind them, you've got Jan Carlson, Franck Laverne and Karl Klebot. So Klebot lost out of position at the start, but is closing on the Frenchman, heading down. Well, it looks like Karl Klebot's going to try and go up the inside as 5:07 goes a bit wide and slows. And that is Jan Carlson. Jan Carlson has dropped all the way back to the penultimate position. So was there an issue? Was there an issue? So that's now changed the race a little bit more, because now we're starting to concertina a little bit from second position from Andreas Schindler. He's got Rudy Champion, Bruno dos Santos, Marco Winkler, Christoph Adams, Franck Laverne, Karl Klebot, Klaus Parnet and Friedrich Beikert, who round out the top 10. As also Rodrigo Pinilos is running in 13th position. As now that's the 5:07 of Jan Carlson pulling into the pits. Now down to 13 competitors, but the battle is waging on from what is going to be from second onwards, because Slavomir Moransky had a whopping 1 second lead after lap number 1 here. But he's got Rudy Champion and also Bruno dos Santos. Then it is Marco Winkler, Christoph Adams. And the drivers in this particular field, minimum age that you're able to enter, and I would actually be eligible for this category. Minimum requirement is 32 years of age, and I'm 10 years above that. So if you put me in a Rotax kart, I'd be in a DD2 Masters category. I probably wouldn't fare very well either. I need to lose a bit more success ballast, unfortunately. I've just seen that the 5:36 of Franck Laverne has dropped down behind Karl Klebot. So Klebot, who's not just a very good baker, but he's also blooming fast behind the wheel of a kart, which put him to being the BNL Karting Series DD2 Masters Champion. I think also the Belgian Match Challenge, if I remember correctly, because now Christoph and Karl are running lying astern in their Team Belgium race suits. So you can see a bit of Belgian flair, and you've got a little bit of a reverse on that thanks to Rudy Champion with his PKS Competition race overalls. So already, and seeing quite a few, there's been a couple more entries for the opening round of the Euro Trophy at Genk in just 48 days time, 6 weeks from now, where I think we've got possibly in the region of nigh on 40 competitors over 6 classes. And we will have some further developing news in the coming days about the race weekend format in due course. So Moransky has the lead over Andreas Schindler from Germany by about 2.2 seconds. And DD2 Masters, if you're first overall, you get a free entry for the season for Rotax Max Challenge Euro Trophy for all 4 rounds, starting April 10th at Karting Genk, then moving to Adria on the 29th of May, before we head to Paul Fletcher International just outside of Grantham in Lincolnshire on the 10th of July, before the Pro Kart Raceland Circuit in Wackersdorf in Germany hosts the final round from September 4th to 6th. As now Christoph Adams is being caught by Karl Klebot as they head into turn 1. Klebot is not that far adrift from Christoph Adams. These two have been battling away before, and it's now emigrated back over to the Euro Trophy Winter Cup. As Rudy Champion trying to close up on Andreas Schindler. 9 minutes and 19 seconds to go, plus 1 additional lap. As there's a nice little battle coming down the hill, a little bit further down the order. Looks to be, I think possibly, that could be, that's Tanu Yildiz at the back of that, so that will be Maxim Shaposhnikov from Russia, who's running with Birolart Baltics on the Birolart chassis. As Moransky last time around had a 2.687 second advantage over Andreas Schindler. Gap between Schindler and Champion, who's in 3rd at the moment, was just over 3.5 tenths of a second. It's now 4.1 tenths, and here goes Karl Klebot up the inside of Christoph Adams. Nice work by the Buvin Power driver, part of the same stable as Zander Schublak, who's opened his scoring banks in the finals with 2 wins, a pole position in the qualifying heat stages, and then winning the first race in DD2. So Jan Carlsen confirmed as a retirement, unfortunately, with Ido Adrisani and both Conrad Bayer. I think they won't be partaking in the second final later on this afternoon, which will close out the action here at Karting Campillos. And that will be at 15:25 local time. Just another reminder for the general paddock, in just under 15 minutes time we will have the group photograph down on the start finish line at 1:15 this afternoon. That's all 200 drivers with their race suits on, and you must bring your race helmets with you as Daniel Yildiz gets a position and gets past Shaposhnikov for what is 11th on the road. And I think yesterday Yildiz got a 9th place finish in, I think it was the last heat yesterday afternoon. So Karl Klebot will now start to chase after Marco Winkler. So that's for P5. He's about 0.8 of a second adrift, but Winkler was set his personal best of 64.268 on that last tour. So the leader himself, Slavomir Moransky, when you're not talking about the leader sometimes, he's doing a pretty good job. He's got a gap of what's going to be, I think, over 3.5 seconds. It was 3.3 exactly last time around. 3.5 as Andreas Schindler sets his best lap time of the race. 1 minute 3.910, but Slavomir Moransky has done the best lap of anybody on a 1 minute 3.579. He'd just put in a 1 minute 3.687. As Rudy Champion was nearly a 10th off of Schindler on that particular occasion, on that particular lap. So we've gone well past the halfway point. We're into the last 5 minutes and 45 seconds plus an additional lap, and a great battle here as Shaposhnikov and Daniel Yildiz still battling away for 11 points. So place the points in 11th position, which will be 4 points to their credit, whereas Slavomir Moransky is trying to be on course for he's done a maximum score so far. He was pole position, both heat victories, put him at the top of the standings, and he's definitely doing that right now as Daniel Yildiz. He might be old in terms of age, but he's definitely got a youthful exuberance about him as he's still hunting down Maxim Shaposhnikov from Russia. That's a great battle for 11th and 12th as they go up the hill, through the left at turn 4, into the left at turn 5, down the dip into the right at 6, now into 7, up the top of the crest of the hill they go, down the hill towards turn 9. Yildiz in the slipstream, doing a fantastic job as the driver. Normally runs with FM Racing as they try and hurtle their way through turn 11 down to turn 12. Yildiz not having an opportunity quite yet as Moransky now comes across the start finish line to start lap number 10. So we go into lap that's 9 laps completed. Schindler in second, Champion still in third, but it's closing. He closed that by nearly, about a quarter of a second as Yildiz and Shaposhnikov, who are 12th and 11th respectively, now come out of the final corner. On to the start finish straight, across the finish line they go to complete their 9th lap here so far. Rodrigo Pinilos, I think, has just crossed the line, currently in 13th place. So we've had Jan Carlsen, the only DD2 Masters retirement in this race. Ido Adrisani and Conrad Bayer, unfortunately not starting. As Champion looks to be closing ever closer still. So Schindler might not be out of the woods quite yet. He's got a chance to try and keep it defensive as we go into 3 minutes and 35 seconds plus an additional lap left to go. Another reminder, this is a 10-minute warning for all drivers apart from those on the circuit. You need to be down at the start-finish line at 1:15 in about 10 minutes time on the start-finish line with your race suits on and with your race helmets, please, for the official group photo for the Winter Cup. As now, again, just keeping an eye, Schindler looks to have responded. He's gone nearly a tenth of a second quicker than Rudy Champion and sets his best lap of the race in the process. But Slavomir Moransky is treating this like a glorified qualifying session. A 1 minute 3 from 1 minute 3.516 as the 46 team driver. Now, for those who follow social media quite a bit, 46 team had a devastating fire in one of their trailers which lost them a lot of equipment. But to see the team come back and then to see Slavomir, more importantly, come back from what can be some very, very demotivating events. I mean, when a driver's injured, the first thing they want to do is get back in the car as soon as possible. And Slavomir is just calmly, just controlling proceedings like it was absolutely nothing as Rudy Champion. Now in the slipstream of Andreas Schindler, going down the main straightaway. He's bump drafting the German going into turn 1, up the hill. Slightly bumpy there, going into the right at 2, into the left at 3. Now into the left at 4, and then the last part of the triple left-hander. Down the dip they go out of 5, into the right at 6. Now into 7. Up the hill to the crest, the top part of the circuit through 8. Down the first part of the descent, down the hill towards the latter part of the circuit through the right-hand sweeper at 9. Braking hard, going into 10. Touching the apex, trying to rotate the kart through turn number 11. Down the short blast towards turn 12. And then it's exit the corner, put down the power, sweep through turn 13, explode on the throttle, coming out of the corner to go onto the back straightaway, down towards turns 15 and 16. Schindler's still got the measure of Piquet's Competition's Rudy Champion at the minute, as we have just under 1 minute and 20 seconds plus an additional lap left to go. Champion not so close this time as they go across the start-finish line with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Bruno Dos Santos, a bit of a lonely drive for the Frenchman in 4th place, but still is ahead of Marco Winkler. And he's got Karl Klebel not that far adrift right now, probably about 6 kart lengths, which equates to around 0.4 of a second. Karl Klebel is definitely doing his best, as is Rudy Champion, who's still trying to close down on Andreas Schindler. So Schindler has kept ahead at the moment, but Champion looks a bit better, a bit deeper on the braking there through turns 10 and 11. So they go into 12. Karl Klebel still has got Marco Winkler on the Soli chassis on the 566 representing Germany. Christoph Adams, apparently by his t-shirt yesterday, the man, the legend. Well, he is a legend in terms of Rotax appearances as Rudy Champion tries to go up the inside of Andreas Schindler through turn 16. But Schindler quickly closes off the door and doesn't let the Frenchman have a chance to get by. So we are now on the penultimate lap as the timer expires as Slavomir Moransky goes up through turn 5. That's it, time's up. We have this plus an additional lap left to go. And realistically, Schindler is just having to hold on for about a lap and a half now as they go down the hill into turn 9. Karl Klebel still trying to catch up with Marco Winkler, but it might be a bit much of a tall ask as we come towards the conclusion of the first bit of action here for the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Cup. Champion still trying to do his best and try and keep on level peggings with Schindler. He gets a good run and gets a good tow, but he's not, I don't think he's close enough. I think he's a bit far adrift really, to be honest, but he manages to go a bit deeper on the brakes to close the gap on Schindler. Moransky now gets the final lap board, and now so will both Schindler and Champion get the say. But then in the meantime, Bruno Dos Santos in 4th, but Karl Klebel has been on a mission. He's about a kart length and a half and he's closing on Marco Winkler going into turn 1. Up the hill they go, he's closing even quicker through turns 2 and 3. Great work by the Belgian based out of Flanders. At the Flanders region in Belgium, very, very nice guy indeed. And they do say the quiet ones are always the ones you've got to watch out for, and Karl Klebel definitely is that kind of individual. Very soft-spoken, very well-mannered, great guy to get along with, but always entertaining when I see him. Always entertained whenever I see him race. As he hasn't got long to go because Slavomir Molansky comes through into turn 15 and the right-hander at 16 for the final time. It's a perfect score so far for the 561, the 2018 DD2 Masters Euro Trophy champion from 2016. Slavomir Molansky takes the win, and Rudy Champion has done it. He's got past Andreas Schindler, probably through turn 16 that was, and he gets past to take second at the flag by just 0.4 of a second from Andreas Schindler. Bruno dos Santos takes fourth. And Christoph Adams has shown up in sixth position. So there's been a bit of a development with Marco Winkler as there are yellow flags. So there must have been a slight coming together between the pair of them. So Carl Klivort was on for a fifth place finish, and that has ended up in the hands of Christoph Adams. Frank Laverne in sixth, Frederick Bakert in seventh, Klaus Parnett in eighth, Marco Winkler and Carl Klivort round out the top 10, with Shaposhnikov from Russia getting the better of Tanu Yildiz from Germany to take 11th, with Rodrigo Pinilos rounding out the 13 that finished. Unfortunately, with Jan Carlsen parking it quite early on in the race, pretty much on the first lap after the rolling start, went lights out. Ido Adrisani and Konrad Bayer unfortunately did not start the race.